Yes. Fresh to death. The boys are back. What's the
What are you
word,
doing?
Joel? This,
I don't know. I just got
Billy.
distracted. I just got distracted by
He's
Billy
really
shimmying.
revved up about these Eagles.
I'm pointing to my Go Birds background, and
Dude,
I'd just like to start this podcast by saying, Go Birds.
He's pointing at the background and his Eagles hoodie.
Oh.
And the boys have been going to school in all their Eagles gear.
Oh,
Brandon, how do you
boy.
feel about Saquon Barkley?
Hey, good
New
for him.
York Giants coming to Philadelphia, city you love, near and dear to your heart.
Mhm. I always, grew up hated the Eagles.
Right.
But now I do a podcast with you guys, and
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and since you guys, I love you guys. I hate Billy. I love Vinny.
Say it.
Sometimes I hate Vinny and I love Billy.
Say it.
I'll say go Birds.
Indeed. Well, I think that comes with years of being separated from being a diehard football fan.
Yeah, I was never I was always a Giant fan. Lawrence Taylor from when I was a kid, Phil Simms, Dave Meggett, OJ Anderson. I could rattle off the early 90s, late 80s Giants. I love the Giants.
Yeah, of course.
I was never.
My mother worked for the Eagles, bro.
I was never as big a football fan as Billy is. Were you a psycho football fan?
Do you
I'm
think,
always a bigger Yankee fan and Knicks fan.
okay, so we're going sports. It's
Football was my out of the big three. Football was my
because we
number
don't count
three.
hockey. Okay, so me it goes.
I've been ice skating though.
Do you mean right now or growing up? Because we all three of us could do it. The list real quick.
Your
major sports.
Your whole life since you were a little baby Paz into adolescent Paz into grown up.
Okay, so
Paz.
boxing was above it, meaning.
Yeah, we're not talking about. We're just talking about team sports on TV.
Yeah.
Big three. Except for hockey, Billy probably likes hockey because
he does.
He's a trash can.
He does. All white.
Billy, did you have a mullet when you were growing up?
Is there another sport?
Never mullet, no.
No. Prereq if you're going to be a hockey fan.
Is there another sport on earth? And I'm saying earth, go to cricket, go to other things, where an entire fan base is human garbage, other than hockey?
No, but I told you, Long Island Railroad, when I would go into work overnights at NBC,
yeah,
I could smell. I knew the Rangers were playing because I could smell the vomit. Getting, have you ever taken into Penn? You got to walk up the stairs to the first floor from down where the train tracks are.
Correct.
You can smell the puke
after
as soon as the doors open. This must be a
isn't
fucking
there
hockey
two
game.
New York teams?
Hmm?
The Islanders.
The Islanders play on Long Island.
They do play where they play at Nassau.
They used to. Now they play at UBS. Nassau is no longer in existence for stuff like that. It will be a Sands Casino soon.
Wow. Is UBS similar to Wells Fargo, which you've been to in Philly? Like that type of place or no? I don't mean it's the same building, but
I just went to UBS for the first time for Disney on Ice a couple weeks back with the kids.
Was it nice?
It is nice. I was surprised. It's in gorgeous Elmont, Long Island. It's on the same campus as Belmont Stakes.
Oh wow. So
Belmont Park and UBS are so Belmont's under construction right now, and I believe it's closed. I think they're racing at the Aqueduct, which is a casino as well. So it's not, dude. It's pretty nice. I was surprised. Nassau was a dumpster fire, but had really cool events at it. And it's 8 miles from my house.
That's tough.
This is UBS is a little further. It's 12 miles. But it is nice. The parking situation, they fucked up. You got to
of course they did.
Park across the street in a parking garage and then walk mad far.
Yeah.
It's modern and nice. I want to say maybe Wells Fargo feels bigger and more professional because the Sixers play there. And the Flyers, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think so, yeah.
William?
Yeah,
well, so
Wells Fargo
UBS
is
dude, UBS is only the Islanders.
Yeah, that's right.
And
So,
then
but they
like
don't have other events.
I was at Disney on Ice. Sebastian Maniscalco sold it out, but
Okay, that's what I meant by other
I
event.
heard the site fee is ridiculous,
Yeah, so
and that's
people
why
don't
we're
want to
not
pay it.
getting anything. I heard it was $1 million site fee, and Maniscalco did it because he's big enough to sell it out. But like,
Yeah,
I don't think he made
yeah, he
like
just
good.
wanted to do it.
Just wanted to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, well, one thing we didn't talk about on the show, and then we'll start off with news. This is Knock 'em Out the Box, episode 115.
115.
My name is Vinny Paz. This is my co-host with the co-most, the Mr. Majestic Left Right Left Kid, Mr. Brendan Long. In the building is
Oh
Irish Billy.
shit!
Go Birds.
Not hungover,
Look at him
Correct.
rested.
very well rested.
Hair is
Little
very. He's
fine.
got like. Look at the hair.
Look at that.
He's got. You know what he's got, bro? Like a natural, like 70s, like part.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like
He
the.
looks like a 70s tour manager of the Allman
Oh,
Brothers.
right? Yes, dude. If he had like tight bell bottoms on and like
Yes.
one of those tight like polos on, you know, kind of
Yes.
things like this,
Yes.
and he was right now, he'd be cursing out the venue.
Yeah, for the
Like,
rider.
like we fucking told you, blue M&Ms. What the fuck? They're not gonna
Yeah.
get those fucking M&Ms out of that bowl
But
now.
a little twinge of 70s black slang
A
mixed
little
in
bit,
when he talks. Just a little bit.
a little tiny bit, yeah, yeah,
Come on, brother.
yeah.
Don't make it a
And
hassle, brother.
and then when they do it, he backslaps them, and he's like, all right,
But
that's what
yeah,
we're talking
Billy's like,
about.
stop being a flatliner, man. Now, come on, baby. He talks like Jimmy Hart, mouth of the South. Baby, come on, baby.
Kind of looks like him.
Don't be a flatliner, baby.
You look like a lighter Jimmy. That's a
He
compliment,
looks
though.
like a 70s Memphis, Jerry Lawler, Jimmy Hart. The
Yeah.
real dastardly Jimmy Hart. When he ran with Kaufman, when Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, like
That's
look,
the
Well, we
beard.
have been discussing, my run in to do frog splash as we watch people climb poles in the city of Philadelphia
two
right now.
people jumped off of things, B, and went splat in Philly. Like just literally went splat. Like nobody caught them. And Billy doesn't like their form at all. So he said he's gonna do he said he's gonna do a frog splash and that he wish he was there to do one. So I said Eddie Guerrero, and he wrote, I lean towards more of a D'Lo Brown split-legged frog splash, is what he told me.
Need the pizzazz.
And that's what I asked him. I was like, for the pizzazz? And he said he loves the pizzazz. So I'm predicting.
so you self-inflict harm for the birds. Like you don't get you like if you don't get caught, it's fine. A couple broken ribs, maybe an arm, shoulder.
Right.
Reasonable. Yes.
It really is two sides to Irish Billy. Like this wonderful businessman, loving father, doting husband, and then what we've seen.
What, doing whippets on Broad Street?
Yeah, just fucking. So Vin, are you? You didn't answer the question. What are your when you were a kid? Were you like a like I never had football cards or anything.
I think as a kid I was psycho equally for Eagles, Sixers, Phillies.
Okay.
As a kid, you know what I mean? Like a child.
Mhm.
Then things started separating themselves. You know what I mean? Like right now, so we're excluding boxing for obvious reasons. We have a fucking show about it.
Right.
It's hoops first, American football second, and Phillies third. But I think playoff baseball is maybe like better than everything.
Yeah.
But at our age, 162 games is rough when you got shit to do, bro. And children and parents and money.
The amount of pitching changes is killer, and for all sports except football, finding the games. You know what I mean? Like football is still on regular, like, all right,
Yes,
I
if you
put
have
on,
3, 6, and 10, no, I shouldn't say it. If you have NBC, ABC, CBS, and Fox, go there.
and it just makes it so much easier to watch. Like
Yeah, now
fucking
you're on.
Yankees are a fucking nightmare.
Yeah,
I gotta, sometimes the games are on Amazon, then Apple TV, then
right, right,
fucking, we have
right,
Yes Network, which we all pay for, which
right,
is Yankees Entertainment
right.
Sports,
What
and
did
they're
it
not,
used to
they're not
be?
on it
It
anymore.
used to be MSG, right? And that's where you would
Yeah,
watch.
Yanks were on MSG
And they would
for
they had
until like 2000, the year 2000.
and they had
2001.
Saturday afternoon at the Garden Wrestling, right? With the Schnucka.
Yeah, they had that. They have, I mean, you could see like crappy Broadway boxing cards on there from
Yeah,
5 years ago that make no sense that it's re-airing.
yeah.
They'll
I
just
guess
play
the
filler.
VR equivalent, Billy, of Prism. For
Right.
those, for
But the
those.
Knicks, the Knicks played exclusively on MSG and the Rangers.
Well, we
So
had
if
this
you
thing
didn't
called
pay,
Prism, B. It was like Philly's white trash HBO.
yes,
But they somehow locked up a fucking deal with the Flyers, Sixers, and Phillies.
yeah. Well, I mean, MSG had the
But I
Rangers
mean,
and the
real
Knicks
cable,
on.
like cable, like you know, when you'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy Mikey's rich, he's got Prism. You know
Yes,
what I
dude.
mean? It's
That's
like,
what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. If you lived around here and you didn't pay extra for it, you
yeah,
couldn't watch the Rangers and the Knicks a lot. So,
yeah, we were
and
the
the
same way,
Islanders
bro.
played on Sports Channel. I'm gonna.
Right?
That's an old pull for you, motherfucking old school New York people. Sports Channel,
Yeah,
and then that was Channel 3.
yeah.
Um, and then back in the day, the Yanks were on WPIX. The Mets were on 9, which became
Oh,
UPN.
at 9,
Nine,
as you people say,
9. No, you say 9, 9. Um,
Pamela,
and then it flipped.
9.
So like Phil Rizzuto,
Yeah.
Siva, you Huckleberry, that was
Like,
on.
remember when Phil Rizzuto gets, uh, what's it called on Seinfeld? They put him under the street.
Oh yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
pave over
They
him.
pave over him. He used to get spooked if there was a rainstorm, like lightning. He was afraid of it. He would drive home. So like they would go back to the booth and like Bill White and like Tom Seaver would be there alone, like no scooter, and like so the play-by-play guy fucking would leave.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We had Whitey, you know, Richie Ashburn and Harry the K, and they would just be sloshed. And so that was our childhood, you know,
Nice.
Harry the K and Whitey being pickled.
I
And
I like the
fun
old Phillies
fact,
uniforms.
fun fact, B, your newer buddy, Jan, his
Mm,
father is the reason Richie got into the Hall of Fame. Jan's father dedicated his adulthood to raising his children and making sure Richie Ashburn got his rightful place in the Hall of Fame. And he's like the first name Whitey says at the Hall of
really
Fame. Yeah.
interesting. I like it.
Guys, we have a lot of news and a lot of stuff to cover.
Let's go.
So we're just gonna go. I said this would not happen. If I'm going to toot my own horn when it's Pazzi predictions, I gotta say when I was wrong. William Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer 2 is being finalized for March 29th
Hmm.
in Cancun for the WBC interim. I don't know why there's an interim. I thought Shakur had that. I don't know what these guys are doing, why they're stripping it.
That's interesting.
If it's very interesting, but are you shocked that it got made? Did you? I don't remember your stance when I said no way they run it back. When I said
I
that.
agree with you.
Okay, I
And
didn't
this Zepeda really doesn't want to fight Shakur.
Enough to fight a guy as good as Tev, who I
Right.
said, guys,
Again.
he look that one he dropped you.
Right.
And Tev's not a puncher, although he's an underrated puncher. I
I
love that fight for Tev.
sure. I'm happy about it.
I'm happy for us. If you're William Zapata and his team and this guy has shown that he can beat you, wouldn't you rather take more money to get beaten by Shakur, who by no means is a star, but now we're getting into we're picking nits, B. If you have to go comparatively, Shakur
Yeah, it would be a
Stevenson is
much
Muhammad
bigger.
Ali
Yeah, it
compared
would
to
be a
Tevin
much
Farmer.
bigger. It would be a much bigger event. It
I'd
would be
rather take
on a bigger card,
I'd rather take
especially
$1 million
now.
to to get beat than $200,000 to get beat. If
Right,
anybody disagrees with that, write me in and tell me why we're wrong.
and Zepeda could be part of a co-feature on a Riyadh season card. Um, to me, this just oozes Oscar is not, and we said this, not confident in his guy. Um, just not. He's just not there like we thought he was. We've been talking about this fight for over a year.
But B, what do you think it happened because of the Tevin fight, or do you think there was trepidation even up until there?
Even up until there. Even up until there.
Can you look up how old William Zepeda is?
Sure, keep going.
I'm gonna say 27. Okay, so I wanted to say, hey guys, they're not gonna give Tev a rematch. I was wrong. Respect.
Yeah, but
to all
can I speak
parties.
on something you were right about?
Please. Well, I'm gonna. That's might be my next bit of news. So I
Is
don't
it
want you.
about a tall guy who
Yeah,
fights small?
that's
Yeah,
yeah. So I wanted to not.
28 Zepeda, dude.
Yeah. So this is the time that you fight the best
Hold
kid.
on. What the fuck are we doing here? Hold on one second.
So
I mean, he's
guys,
older than Shakur.
well, here's the thing, man. You know my view. No one is written in to agree or disagree. I think that pocket between 28 and 32 is when everything has come together.
Did you listen to Sean Porter the other night on the
No.
broadcast? He said he thinks 33 to 35.
Oh yeah, I did. I heard him say that. Yeah, because Sergio's voice went out. Yeah, they referenced someone being 35, and he said something along the lines of that being young or something. Something about that.
He's kind of a weird dude. I gotta say though,
he's wrong, by the way. But
yeah, but I gotta say, I gotta
yeah.
say something about Sean Porter. It's a compliment. That's pretty dope that like they called him up at home and were like, "Can you get in here and do color for us?" And he hopped, he didn't was not planning on going to the event, jumped in his car and
Oh, I thought
drove
he was
over there.
there.
No, he said
Oh,
I came down. He said, although if I knew I was going to be on TV, I would have worn a suit.
No, I thought that was him fucking around. Like I'm here, and you guys just waved me over for a couple bucks. Like I thought he
Nah,
lived there, so he's there.
I think they called him. Like, what are you
Okay.
doing?
I'm politely agreeing, but we're just pontificating, really. I think
Right,
he
but I
was
thought
there when
anyway, it
they
was
called
cool
him
to
up.
hop on
It was
and
really
help
cool
out.
of him.
That
But
was
look,
cool.
man, look,
Good for him. I love
I,
that kind of shit.
he's a lifer.
Yeah. That's
He
this is I believe, is this the only sport where that would happen? Like if you and I were just speaking about baseball and football, right? If there was a former
Mr.
baseball or
Baseball,
football
Don
player, like,
Mattingly.
right, like, hey, just tap him, get him up here. We're desperate right now. Yeah, it's crazy. Sergio's voice went out, huh?
Yeah, well, something I wanted to bring up to you. You work
Right.
in
You
that
could, yeah,
field.
sure.
This fucking Todd Grisham's fucking ratting him out on air. We were at the Killers concert last night, and Sergio was screaming every word. And I'm like, yo, this whole contract is based on your ability to speak. So the way that an athlete can't, well, not can't, shouldn't
No,
go out and get sloshed the night before, like Jordan with the flu game. I'm doing air quotes with the flu because
gotta be
now it's
careful.
food poisoning, right? Now it's the food poisoning game, but
Right.
it's really the poker game till 6 a.m. game. Anyway, when you know about this, and do I, B, you worked in the field, and I know about contracts and they're binding, and it's why players can't it's why Jay Williams got really nothing when he got on that fucking
Right.
motorcycle. Because
Right.
in his contract
So don't ride
was,
motorcycles.
yes, you can't. And you have this many million. Bro, the Bulls gave him, it was the Bulls, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't Jay?
Yes.
The Bulls, like out of the goodness of their heart, this is a corporation where there is no good. We're like, bro, we'll give you 3 million so you don't go into the poorhouse from this rehab.
Yeah.
And he's lucky that he's just really
Yeah, I
bright
think
and
like I
really
mean
articulate.
I think he's in jail now, but Kellen Winslow, remember, it was the same thing. Kellen Winslow Jr. He was on video crashing his motorcycle, and I believe whatever team drafted him, he like severed his femoral artery crashing his bike, and made a comeback. It's
Yeah,
never the same, obviously.
correct.
That's why
Bobby Hurley, never the same.
That's why Jeff Kent famously broke both of his wrists. washing his car,
Ah,
and his neighbors ratted him out, and they're like, "No, he's been doing wheelies for like 3 days on his motorcycle, drunk all day long, and and crashed his bike, broke
yeah.
both of his wrists." Jeff Kent. Okay, no one ever talks about Jeff Kent. For a generation, was arguably the best second baseman, and B, maybe the biggest douchebag ever in sports history, and goes wildly overlooked as such. Jeff Kent was impossible to play with.
Jeff Ken was a lot of things and is a figure that, like you said, in general, should be a total dickhead,
Total dick.
a fucking
Someone should make
gun
a
on the field.
someone should
They
make a
should.
movie about what an asshole
A
and
Netflix,
self-destructive Jeff
yes,
Kent was.
6 part.
Baseball fans out there, write in kotbboxing@gmail.com. Vinny and I love talking. Vinny and I talk baseball a lot,
We do.
but Jeff Kent, man,
Jeff Ken was a gun on the field,
right?
a dickhead outside, and
Oh my
legit
God.
broke both of his.
Dude, the Mets had to get rid of him. They were
Yeah,
like, "We
man.
can't have this guy on the team." He got into a fight with Barry Bonds in the dugout.
And Barry's the fucking like the second worst.
Second
human,
worst.
so
Not on the
it's
same team.
right, right. Wild.
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 So okay.
Okay, so guys, I said on this show, Brendan, a fight's about to be made. It is not going to be made. They will not put Sebastian Fundora anywhere near our guy. Who is our guy, Mr. Long?
Carlos Conwell.
Sebastian Fundora. And I don't know if you say Chordell or Cordell.
Cordell.
Sebastian Fundora and Cordell Booker are finalizing a deal for a fight on March 22nd in Vegas. Why? Because they did what I said and said, you think we're putting this kid in with this guy who's fucking so good for nothing? We don't have him hemmed up. No reason.
Right.
Fundora's WBC and WBA super welterweight. I continue to forget that he grabbed 2 because of Timmy. Will be on the line. It's going to headline a PBC on Prime show. Now, I don't see the word pay-per-view. If they try to put that as a pay-per-view for any level of money, I'm going to just stop talking crazy and just start saying, just sign your death warrant, meaning PBC.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
going to
that'll be a
stop with
freebie.
that. You know what I mean? I'm going to stop shitting on Heyman. I'm not going to say anything mean. I'm just going to go, all right, just continue to sign your death.
He's MIA right now.
Yes. Simply because, simply because of what they're building. You have thoughts that my dream of having an actual commission in league might happen. Of very big promoters, everyone's on board except these guys.
Yeah.
You have one of the guys actively shitting on it in Tank, saying fuck you to the Ring Awards, fuck you about His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh, sour grapes, of course, mental illness, yeah, it's there. Been punched in the head too many times. Guys, because he's undefeated, by the way, this is a quick aside. When B and I talk about guys who are punch drunk or we don't think a guy should take one more punch, like a guy like Wilder. Guys, you can be undefeated, and it doesn't mean you never got hit. It doesn't mean you didn't spar hundreds and thousands of rounds, and it doesn't mean you weren't hit in the face and in the head and in the
especially guys like Tank, because that's what you're talking about.
It is
who came up in rough gyms,
very rough.
Like I'm curious how many rounds. It's probably immeasurable. Tank has sparred since he's like 7 years old. You know how and they
he's
said
he's so good at 10 that they got him in there with 13.
I was just gonna say he was in there. He was in there knocking out men when he was like 12 years old.
Right. So then he's in there 12 and 13, like Tyson was, but a small version of it. So they go, I put him in with Mikey, who's 18. So now he's getting touched up a little bit.
Right.
Hurting the guy, but getting touched.
Well, like a guy we'll talk about a little bit later, Carmel Moten.
Yes.
I've been watching him for the last 3 years.
Yes.
Spar men.
Yeah, same. So we both have. Yes.
So,
so what do you think about that, B?
I'm rooting for Booker. There's a great documentary. You guys should look it up. It's called The Boxer, Cordell Booker. His interesting story, Stamford, Connecticut kid.
He's an interesting guy. I'm glad you corrected me. I kept saying Cordell. I didn't say the H because I think
it is Cordell. That's what it is. I think it's Cordell Booker.
Okay. Whatever I
could be wrong.
Whatever I originally said, I corrected myself.
That
I say,
His,
yeah,
you know the story about his mom taking up boxing
yes.
to
His
get
story,
closer to him?
yes, his story is pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah, like they didn't have a great relationship, and his mom took up boxing to get close to him.
We
So listen,
know,
I'm rooting for him.
look, we know people that are very successful in the sport from Connecticut, so we can get the drop on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's from
Nothing bad. Just like, is he ready? Does he feel that he's ready? You know what I mean? All of that. I'm gonna hit them up so we can discuss it because it's coming up, guys. March
he got
22nd.
knocked. He got
Ammo Williams did him dirty.
bad,
Bad.
right?
I mean, I think it was
First round.
first round.
Okay.
Yeah. So they think, all right, well, Fedora can be touched. This guy's chinny. We're gonna fucking scream for this kid to stay on the outside and land that, that too behind the jab. That's what they're thinking.
Hmm.
And our guy's too good for everybody. Look, I already said, look, they're not putting our guy Conwell in with this guy. It's not gonna happen. Uh, you said
I was wrong.
you said I might be wrong, I might be right. What I am gonna say is, guys, I'm gonna keep carrying that on. And I don't think any of these guys are gonna get in there with him. It's too high risk, too low reward. He's going to be a modern day haggler. I'm not comparing skills wise, guys.
Yeah, he's a
Sorry.
boogeyman.
He's a boogeyman. You're difficult. You're not a name. You're really good. Um, it these guys, there's always one or two in the sport at any given time. There's not a lot of them because there needs to be so much to be a boogeyman. Because if you go,
Right.
oh, well, this guy's great. Well, usually they're a draw. So, okay, well, he's a draw and he's probably going to beat me, but I'm going to get 2.5 million. So, okay, the guy's a draw.
Yeah.
Everyone would watch Lomachenko. So, you're going to get beat up. Everyone would watch Bud. Everyone would watch a younger Errol Spence,
Yep.
Everyone. So it was like, well, yeah, the guy's going to beat me, but hey, it's going to be a million people are going to watch, So,
Mhm.
okay, why would you fight Charles Conwell? You know what I mean? Unless you're forced to by sanctioning bodies. I said I think he's the best guy at 54. That's really not spoken about. Because if you look at the rankings, you and I do, there's like there's all those goons. Mortal
Yeah.
Zayev, um, um, you're worried about Tim Zoo, then Boachuk, uh,
Bud,
yeah,
Madrimov,
Ma- Madrigal,
Adames,
Ortiz, so
Adames.
yes, who we're going to talk about.
Bro, this
Yeah,
fucking division's insane.
yeah. So why would you fight him? Those guys
Charles fucking Conwell.
yeah. Javante Tank Davis Lamont Roach undercard has been announced. Rayo Valenzuela is facing Gary Antoine Russell. We like Rayo on this show.
Dude, that's great. That's a
That's
great fight.
good. This next one is too interesting. This next one, Alberto Puello versus Sandor Martin. That's a boxing heads fight right
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah. It's a good one.
Yoenis Teles versus Julian J. Rock Williams. Look, Teles has only got 9 fights from the Cuban.
J-Rock is back?
J Rock is back. I spoke to J Rock because he said, because the
Give
Eagles
us the
won.
exclusive.
The Eagles won last night, and J Rock said, I'm headed down to Broad Street. I'm going to need bail money. Joking, of course. J Rock is a strict Muslim, and he's not getting drunk or doing anything like that, but he made a joke about it. And I said, I got you, Pop. I got you with the bail money. You just got to tell me what station you're at, and I'll come get you. So I will be talking to J Rock leading up into to this fight. This is in New York City. B is definitely going to go. It's up to him to convince me to go. I would
I
say
think we're going.
we're not covering this right now. I would say, man, 9 fights. They think highly of this kid at PBC. By the way, so do I. But my feelings about J Rock, B, as him being a Philly guy.
Yeah.
They're similar to Tevin, and I talk about him similarly to Tevin, where I say I wear it on my sleeve and I don't pretend I look at Jay the same way that I look at Ted. I think there's still stuff in the tank.
Yep.
Um, you know, basically at 154 a few years back, I was like, well, the next 10, 12 years is J-Rock, Julian Williams, and Landy. I mean, who's the kid whose name I forget every time, and I was calling Edison Miranda. The kid who lost to Fundora. He dropped him.
Erickson Lubin.
Why can't every episode 3 in a row do I not remember his name? I was like, Erickson Lubin and J-Rock are going to be the greats of this area of weight for 10 years. You know what I mean? And they've both suffered losses and setbacks. But I still think J-Rock is really good. I know that he's really good. He's Whitbread, man. Do you think they're throwing Yoenis Tellis in too early, or do you think they care?
No,
The
this
PBC?
is the test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Respect to PBC.
And respect to J-Rock for taking that fight.
Yeah, and respect to Yoenis Tellis for fighting a former champion with 9 fights. Keith Thurman is set to make his return to the ring versus Brock Jarvis on March 12th in Sydney. We said before, this kid hasn't fought in 3 years.
Weird.
Why can't he go away? He wasn't good 3 years ago.
Why is he
wasn't good 5 years
fighting
ago?
in Australia?
In his prime, when people were hyping him one time, and the PBC nut huggers were talking like he wasn't good then. So I don't get it. I hope Brock Jarvis sparks him clean out.
Thurman's a weird duck to me. Like, remember when he first came on the scene, everyone's like, oh, he's this like big welter.
Yeah.
And then it turns out he's like 5'7". He's not a big welter. And he probably should have melted down a little bit more to 40, where he would have been a big.
He would have been a gun at 140 back then when he had, like, a good straight right hand, a professional right hand. He probably would have sparked people out at 40.
Yeah, he's weird career. I mean, can't knock him, right? World champion, fought everybody that was around.
We talked about
beat good guys.
We talked about that 147 round robin that
I was there.
Heyman did, where he was just like, all my guys are going to fight each other.
Right.
They're all very sturdy. Spencer's above all of them. But
right.
The rest of them,
that was when PBC, like, that was when they were doing the right thing.
Yeah, and you and I were very high on them. For those that think, why do these guys critique PBC? Every episode, we didn't have a podcast then, but if you followed us,
right,
B and I were talking.
And I was going to all those fights.
I was going to PBC events that were in Philly and AC, and you were going to everything in New York.
I was at Thurman Porter, which was amazing. Like, the energy was crazy, and that was a brawl. Those guys beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
I remember, I think Thurman got the nod in that.
Yes.
And if you saw what he looked like after, it was like, that's the guy who won.
Correct.
He was, both guys look fucked up. But anyway, all right. Yeah. So weird. That's weird. 3 years off, fighting in Australia.
I'll tell you something he said, B, that I like.
Thurman?
Yes, for us on KOTB, because you're very concerned about Tim Tszyu and his potential return and moving too quickly. Because I told you, bro, I saw him. He's training. You're like, no.
I saw it too. I saw a picture.
Take a year off. The kid needs a year off flat. He's gonna probably beat this kid Brock Jarvis, and he was like, I want Tim Tszyu.
Oh.
So if you want to do what you want to do, and it's like, bro, don't put him back in there with a killer.
They're gonna have him fight.
Sure. No. Am I wild for thinking that?
No, Brock Jarvis lost to Liam Paro.
Right. Is some sort. Am I wild for thinking this is some weird sort of long game here?
No, I think you're probably spot on.
To set up Tim Tszyu's comeback in Australia, because he did. I'm going to the U.S. and his father came in and fell apart. So now you have to rebuild. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll bet Thurman stays in Australia because he's like a weirdo.
That's what I'm getting at. Like,
he moves there.
Yes, and stays there for 6 months, and they fight in the spring or something, or summer.
Summer, yeah.
Yeah, summer. The WBC have reaffirmed that the winner of Benavidez Morrell this week will be the WBC mandatory challenger for the winner of Beterbiev versus Bivol rematch on the 22nd. I have another issue, B. Now we have more to contend with the Bivol. Now they're banging up Better Biev's name. Better Biev.
Better.
So now we got two guys. They can't. It's Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. That's who's fighting, guys.
Bivol.
All right.
Bivol.
Someone else Brian Norman Jr. versus Derek Cuevas has been rescheduled for March 29th.
What's up with Brian Norman Jr.?
Listen, because I'm cutting a fucking promo.
Yo, get him, Paz.
Brian Norman Jr. versus Derek Cuevas has been rescheduled for March 29th on the Michaela Mayer Sandy Ryan 2 undercard in Las Vegas. Norman Jr. is set to defend his WBO welterweight world title for the first time. Listen, this fucking kid wants no part of anyone good, but wants to get paid. And you know what happens when a fighter doesn't behave like a fighter? You end up on the fucking undercard of a female fucking headline card, and you fucking deserve it, and you get peanuts. And I don't count other men's money, but you ain't the motherfucking main event, and no one knows who Derek Cuevas is. So I'm just I'm just making an educated motherfucking guess. How's that, guys? Because you're getting, and this
is like, dude, this is like, I'll be honest, this is like 3 years removed from Michaela Mayer's best.
Correct.
When she fought
Alicia,
right? But they were, the big fight was her and Alicia Bumgarner.
Yes. She's lost twice, I think.
Mayer?
Yeah.
I got to look it up. Go ahead, keep talking.
I will. Guys, you're not look, first off, B and I don't recognize force sanctioning belts. The champ is the champ. At 47, we believe it to be Boots. Other guys have belts. We want Boots to fight him. He is fighting one of them. And then it should be unifications. That's all.
Yeah, she lost to Bumgarner, one other girl.
Yeah, she's got. So I don't care. Look, those when the thing with those, if you put good undercards on, I'm gonna watch regardless, guys. It's part of our job. I don't care. I don't even care. Am I gonna watch Brian Norman versus Derek Cuevas? B? Who is that?
No.
What is he ranked?
I'll look him up.
Who ranks him? Who I never heard of him. So a guy that we've never heard of is getting a fucking title shot, and people write into us asking, why is this a splintered sport? Why don't I know who the champion is at this division? Guys, this is why. Because Brian Norman Jr. is fighting Derek Cuevas, and Brian Norman Sr. is busy beefing with Greg Hackett instead of taking. I hope Greg Hackett flies his head. Peace, Greg. Love you, bro.
Brian,
you know Greg Hackett is fighting Norman's father?
In real life?
Yes.
They scheduled it?
Yes.
When?
And Greg's gonna fuck him up, bro.
When are they fighting?
Let me look at Greg's page. Well, if you're looking and I'm looking,
I got it. So this guy hasn't fought. Okay, Derek Cuevas. What the fuck is going on with fucking boxing?
Yeah, don't even tell me someone hasn't fought and they're getting a title.
He's 27-1. He's got 19 knockouts. All right. He hasn't fought since last December of 23. So it's over a year. That'll be a year and 4 months removed from his last fight by the time he fights again. He lost to a split decision in 2020, a guy with 8 losses.
Yeah, this is guys, this borders on criminal. Greg Hackett is fighting Brian Norman's father on February 15th, 2025.
So he's fighting him in 2.5 weeks.
Correct. Greg Hackett is a brilliant boxing mind. I've said more than once on this show that he's a future guy that people are going to be talking about as one of the best trainers in the sport. Guys, Greg is a former pro at heavyweight. He runs a gym and trains guys. He's crewed up with Boots and that crew. A lot of times if you see a guy, a big kid doing mitt work that's not Bozy, it'll be Greg. Greg is also fucking hilarious and could go into comedy. Greg Hackett on Instagram, if you look him up, he's hilarious. He posts lots of breakdowns and stuff like B and I do of fights, but it's coming from an ex-fighter. This fucking Norman Sr. just ran his mouth so much that Greg was like, let's fucking Let's sling the dogs. So they are literally going to do it. It's 6 rounds because I think Brian Norman's father had some pro fights. I know he had amateur fights.
He did.
Yeah.
He had a lot. I'm looking him up now. He was
Greg's going to
17 and 11.
Greg's going to hurt him. Bob Arum has revealed that Teofimo Lopez is in talks for a 3-fight deal with Turki Al-Sheikh. The Saudi stepped up to the plate, and Top Rank is pleased with the offer. Now it's up to Teofimo. I think Teofimo will like the package the Saudis have presented. So, guys, what you're watching is, I'm sorry, what word did I use?
Presented
is what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
Sorry about that. Presented is what I meant to say, not provided.
It's that's a last slip.
Last episode, guys, I said that this Bozo Teo, in my opinion, is going to fight 2 good guys this year. This seems to confirm what I said for one reason, not because I have faith in Teo or his father, but Turki Al-Sheikh is going to pay for bullshit fights.
It's going to go. He's fighting.
Yeah, this is the plan. What B's about to say.
Hitchens, right?
I mean, is he? That's what.
No, this is what I'm hearing. It's going to be Hitchens, then Boots, then the winner of Boots and Teo gets the winner of Devin and Ryan, and the losers fight each other.
Correct. I think we spoke about that. Was that the last?
Yeah.
Show?
Dude, that's fucking crazy.
If that happens and there are no injuries, that's wild.
That's cool.
Incredible.
It honestly, look, dude, this is gonna sound fucking like what we said 6 months ago. This is like me and you matchmaking. Like, yo, it'd be cool if this happened and that happened, and like if you and I had billions of dollars.
When we mentioned and said we hope this isn't the rich kid that can buy any toy. When it becomes that and they do good shit, do you care? Because I
don't give a fuck. No, like I said, I phrased it like this. This is because we were getting a lot of cart before the horse stuff.
Correct.
So it was like, oh, this is just a rich kid playing with his toys.
Because he was saying things that were kind of wild, and we're like, well,
no, it was literal armchair promoter shit. Like, yo, it'd be fucking dope if like these 2 guys fought, and then like we take the losers on the same card, 3 months later, and we just make them fight.
Right.
And it's, I guess, if
it sounded like a booking meeting with Vince and Pat Patterson.
Right. And then what did I say 2 weeks ago or something? I said, I think Teofimo Lopez goes into a board meeting and they give him options, and then he runs out and Twitter fingers his, he just diarrheas of the mouth.
Yeah.
Diarrhea of the Twitter fingers, and he's just like, hey, guys, I'm ready to fucking fight everybody. Takeover 2025.
Yes.
But right now, Teofimo, I have to look it up, so keep talking. His manager now is going to get him a ton of fights.
Look, man, Turki Al-Sheikh doesn't play games. People have written us, meaning into our mailbag. They have written the KEOTB Instagram. They've we've written to B and I personally with is Turki Al-Sheikh good for boxing? And it's not a complicated answer. It's very simple. Look at the fights he's making, look at the fights he plans on making, and look at the fights he plans on making long-term. Most of his plans are long-term, and he's playing the long game. So if you were to write me and say, what is the bad side of this or him? There isn't one other than him being like, I'm losing too much money, I'm out of the boxing game. That's legitimately the only bad thing I can come up with. And that's not him doing anything wrong. It's just a result of overpaying people, which happened to PBC, which is why they are. But money can run out when you're a company like PBC.
Well, they also had investors and
correct.
Correct.
There is not money to run out here, guys. I know it's very difficult to understand that type of wealth. And nobody listening to this show that listens to this show regularly can fathom the wealth over there. Trust me.
Right.
One
So
of my closest friends on earth lives there and has toured with me throughout the world and has put in words the type of wealth this is. And it's really tough to wrap your head around unless someone close to the situation can explain it to you with instances and examples.
I'm going to have to hop in here and just talk about Teofimo Lopez and how his career has moved.
Please take the floor.
In the last like 3-4 months, he's brought the Reynosos on, okay, as his, Eddie Reynoso is his trainer. Famously, Eddie Reynoso is Canelo's trainer. Okay, he's also brought on Keith Connolly, and I hope I'm saying this guy's name right. It's Mike Borreo. Or Borreo.
I always said Borreo, but maybe that is
Borao.
Yeah.
But I'm not that familiar with him. Maybe it's a co-managerial deal with Keith Connolly. Keith Connolly is like a boxing power broker. He manages Conor Benn, Edgar Berlanga, Richardson Hitchens, the aforementioned Alicia Baumgartner, Philip Hergovich, Danny Jacobs, and Sergey Derevchenko, among others. So look, all those people get big fights. So it's not even arguably right now. Lopez is his most well-known and most talented guy on Keith Connolly's roster. Lopez is going to get fights. It's like you said, or Bob said, up to Teo now. So he's got Top Rank, he's got Turkey, he's got the Reynosos, he's got Keith Connolly. This is like a fucking dream team of...
Can I ask you a question? And then
Sure.
I'll back up again. Do you think that... No. All right, I know the answer, but it's boxing. So it's why I'm asking, all right? So everyone out there going, what the fuck are you talking about? Why did you waste time on the show asking that question? I'm asking because this is boxing. And I just went off on Brian Norman Jr. Do you think there's any possibility? Because Teo had all these reasons why he hasn't fought anyone. You know what I mean? The huge Lomachenko win should have propelled him to superstardom. Okay? It just should have. If he's as good as he thinks he is.
Well, okay, good. Just ask a question and I'll give you my answer.
Forget your plan that you laid out, or Turkey's plan, which is this fight, then this fight, okay? Hitchens into Boots, into the loser, and this, and forget that. Do you have full faith that they announce the first fight soon of the 3-fight deal, and that fight is with a guy that we're good with?
Yeah, it's going to be Richard. I think it's going to be Richardson.
All right, you're sticking on that.
Yeah.
Say it doesn't. Say it doesn't get made. I don't know.
I can't imagine why they share a manager.
I'm trying to make you do like, no, Hitchens gets hurt.
Oh, okay. Do they have a better, like another, like a replacement?
I'll name. Is there a second guy? And is it real? Because I'm telling you, it is one more nail in a coffin of a what if guy. He's fucking real close to being a what if, Brendan. He isn't as young as we think. I said to you, my brain says he's still 23. You're Mr. Knows everyone age. You're like, bro, he's like 27, 28 now.
Right. All right. I don't think you amassed this team, and I just don't think this many people get behind. No, he's going to make fights. And he did make fights. See, 3-4 years ago, he fucked up after Loma. And what he did was, I should be getting gajillion dollar Mayweather paydays in his head because he's the takeover. So what he did was he backdoored Bob. He went to, remember the whole Triller thing?
Yeah, of course.
Right? Triller fucking, they welched on that bet with Kambosos.
Yeah.
They never paid, right? They won the purse bet and then never.
Correct.
They just never paid it. Then he got COVID. I think.
Like long COVID and was banged up.
Right. Then when they fought,
with the dad and the baby mom and the kids doing interviews, and sounds like he's having an episode.
Right. So,
but nothing can change what you look at on BoxRec. Steve Claggett struggling, arguably losing to
Sandor Martin.
To Sandor Martin. arguably losing or a draw with a Jermaine Ortiz. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
saying. All right, let's just
But
say
then sprinkle in beating Josh Taylor, sprinkle in beating Loma, sprinkle in, he's so inconsistent.
he's inconsistent and has all these weird asterisks to me. Okay, Loma wasn't old. He wasn't old. It was 2000, so Loma was
2020. Yeah.
31 or 2. That's your prime to me, guys. To me, all right. Josh Taylor was the real guy at 40. We, in retrospect, on the show, did the family tree thing and said, yeah, I think he was shot by Teo. Because we went through that fucking murderer's row at 40, the Taylor fought, and we were discussing Catterall and Taylor. And that's what led us to go down this rabbit hole of is beating. Oh, I had Teofimo Lomachenko a draw. Lomachenko flew his head the entire second half except for the 12th. Anyway, I had that 114 draw, and then and he had one arm. Lomachenko did. And then the Josh Taylor win, according to our view of it, had gone through a murderer's row, was having trouble making weight. We've heard from people is a partier.
It's not enough fights. I think right now they're going to put him on the fast track, I think.
So before we move on, can I throw a question at you? I didn't finish the one that I meant to ask. I'm going to ask you this. If you agree with me, and you can't disagree that it was a one-arm Loma. There's video of him in the hospital.
Right. All right. Cut to the chase. Let's go. What do we got here? You want to tell me?
Fuck you. How's that?
No, come on. You're dragging this fucking thing out.
Is a win over a one-armed Loma and
5 years ago,
a possibly washed, now washed Josh Taylor, maybe washed when he beat him, Josh Taylor, the scalps that people think they are, if you agree with me there.
I'm just gonna say yes because he beat him, and
okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine.
And I'll say this: every fucking person that's now behind him is a veteran boxing person, including Top Rank.
I have nothing to say to that because you're absolutely right.
So
there should be no. We better get an announcement of Richardson Hitchens, and if it isn't, it
so
better
now
be a
I
big
just read
name.
that off to you guys. They share a manager.
Yes.
Okay. They don't share a promoter, but we supersede that now with this Saudi backing. Okay.
Guys, and when that fight gets made, they're not doing Richardson Hitchens.
And by the way, let's also talk about this.
Oh, I thought I wouldn't. Hurry
2 months ago,
hurry it up.
2 months ago. Well, I want to make my fucking point.
I shut up the whole time you were talking about this.
Get the fuck out of here. You interrupted me twice.
Nonsense. Stop it.
2 months ago, I want to say, you correct me if I'm wrong on that, Bob was talking poorly about Turki Alashiki, talking bad about him poaching fighters, etc. Now we're happy with the deal.
Yeah.
We're happy with this. We're happy with that.
I wonder why.
Right. So my point is, we got Eddie Hearn, we got Bob, we got
Frank Warren.
But particularly specifically about Teofimo, right?
Yeah. Okay.
The promoter hang-up's not going to be there now.
Agreed.
It's going to. You have a guy controlling the purse strings now, and everyone's happy.
I don't think they're doing Richardson any favors. That's my opinion. I think it's too much too soon, but I'm not mad at it. I want to see things like this. But
what happens? What happens if we get an inconsistent performance from our friend Lopez?
We're going to,
and Richardson kicks his ass.
I don't think that's out of the
thing
realm
is, Richardson doesn't really have a "I'm going to kick your ass" kind of style.
He doesn't.
He's just going to win.
He's going to win
or lose, either whatever.
Yes, but he's going to be what he is.
Right. The thing is, he's kind of a. Would you rather see Teo in there with a guy who can kick ass?
Right.
Not that Richardson doesn't win wide or can't win wide, or he's. We're not saying he's not good, but like it's not really like an ass kicking style.
No, it isn't.
Teo now, when he's on, that's a fucking ass kicking style.
Do you dirty?
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see if now the money's right. Okay. Every promoter's happy. Manager's happy. Let's see if the fighter's happy. Get rid of your dad. Um,
Yeah.
and his dad's not his trainer anymore.
Yeah. Only listen to the
Right.
Reynosos.
His dad's not his trainer anymore. All right.
Some very bad news, very bad and sad, and this upsets me, and no one should sanction him. Mick Conlon has signed a long-term promotional deal with Wasserman Boxing and is set to return to the ring in the coming months. Update: will return versus Assad Asif Khan on March 7th in Brighton, UK. That's awful for everybody involved. Guys, any don't don't sanction him. Brighton, if that fight goes off, Brighton, you should be ashamed of yourself for letting him fight again. This is a disaster waiting to happen, guys. Okay? When the fight comes up, we'll talk about it because I'm going to get into that. The ring has confirmed that the IBF has now scheduled a purse bid on February 2nd for the ordered Subraya Matias versus Gabriel Goyas Valenzuela final eliminator to determine the next mandatory challenger for Hitchens' IBF super welterweight world title. Are they going to strip him of that? And then,
Probably.
yes, so then does Teo not fight him because he doesn't have anything to
No,
unify?
I think that okay. That's good that you circled back to that. The money now has backed Teo in a corner where there's no. That's it. This is what the belts aren't going to matter with Turkey. You know what I mean? It's going to be we'll get you on. We have Eddie, we have Bob, we have the fighters. We have
Right.
the
And that's
guys
the
working
old way of
together.
doing things where we know who the champ is. You took it from this
Right.
kid. If Richardson Hitchens gets stripped and beats Teo, he's the guy. I
He's the
don't care
guy.
who wins between
Correct.
this other stuff.
Correct.
Austin Hammer Williams will face Patrice Volney on March 15th in Orlando. I wonder if that's pro box. Olympic bronze
No.
medalist Omari Jones is set to make his professional debut on that card. Um, th- that kid's good, Omari Jones. I watched him in the Olympics. He's good. Well, I don't know. We got to see how a guy's style. You know, it looked like a pro style to me when I watched him. Boots and Stanionis is official, guys. Um, you know, we talked about it. We loved it, but it's signed, sealed, delivered. It's
Great.
it's it's for what it's worth. All the marbles because the Ring Magazine belt. The IBF Boots has. Um, and Stanionis has the WBA, but it's for the real. You're the real. This is the real guy at 47. Whoever wins this, it's Atlantic City, April 12th. We'll be there. B will love this. George Kambosos Jr. will face Daoud Yordan on March
That
22nd.
guy's still fighting?
Where did they get him?
Dowd
What was
Jordan. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Where was he? Where did they get him? B?
Dowd Jordan. I'm gonna look him up.
10 round super lightweight. So he's going to 40, which I didn't think would happen. I don't think of Kambosos as a big kid. It'll headline a DAZN show and will be Kambosos'
Dowd
first
Jordan
fight.
is 37 now.
Yeah. It'll be his first fight there in 8 years, meaning Sydney. I thought all those big fights they were having. Where were they then? Perth? Because we were saying, Shane, are you going to this? If it wasn't in Sydney, I thought that whole time was his home.
Melbourne.
Melbourne. You're right, B. Why
Um,
wouldn't you do something where he's from? Wouldn't it be way bigger?
yeah, I don't know, dude.
Um,
That's
I try to throw things funny in that all of these curmudgeon funny people say, promoters that we think are funny.
Dowd Jordan lost to Remember Celestino Caballero?
I do.
That big, tall, lanky bastard.
Yep.
In 2010.
15 years, bro. 15 years ago, that's a bad loss.
Fucking Christ.
Where did they find him? This guy was
He's still fighting. Like
this guy
he lost to Anthony Crowler in Rock and Roller Crawler.
Rock and Roller Crawler. Is that in the UK?
Yeah, sorry to slow this down, guys. That was in Manchester. So that was in 2018. So
Okay.
7 years ago. He fought 1, 2, 3.
The fact that
It looks like he took
2018 was 7 years ago is pretty fucking
throwing
crazy.
up in my mouth.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's fought 5 times since then. He most recently fought. Yeah, he had a fight in Indonesia.
So
Another
they
one.
see him. I mean, that he's viewed in boxing circles as a journeyman that'll fight anyone,
Sure.
anywhere, short. Give me a couple weeks and I'll fight. Book it. That's cool.
Okay.
Hopefully he's
Interesting.
got a little nest egg because getting punched in the face for a living is a tough job.
Yeah. I'm looking. His whole family's fighters.
I don't know what you do there fighting at 140. I don't know what you're even. So Cambosis wins there and what? He wins that fight and what? Who do you put him in there
Ah,
next? Does he sell tickets? Because they had to bring in foreigners to make those fights what they were. You brought in an American in Devin Haney twice, who's not a star on either continent, and you had to bring in Lomachenko, you know.
yeah.
Now George Kambosos has to fight an unheralded guy on a DAZN card. Who's gonna go? What size is the venue? And then what do you do when he wins? Because everyone at 140 packs him up. It's a name. I mean,
Dad, your dad might pack him up.
he might. He might. This is for you, B. This isn't news. It's just all for you, my friend, because I love you like a brother. Eddie Hearn has called for Naoya Inoue to be removed from the
Oh, I saw
pound
this.
for pound list for, in quotes, ducking MJ, Nurjan Akhmadaliev. Eddie's a funny motherfucker, bro.
Removed from the
Removed from
pound
the, yes, he's
from a
not
subjective list.
from a
Get off of
subjective list, right?
an imaginary
An
thing that people do for
imaginary
fun.
list, right? Right. But I guess he's speaking about the specific ring one
I guess
because
he's just
when
drumming up
yeah, but
MJ.
he's being funny. He's got to get MJ's name out there. The Zone did a good job by ESPN Plus,
I
and
I really would wish that they would make
so
that
do
cut.
I. So
But
do
I
I.
will say this: MJ, you lost, and then you took like a year off.
Yeah, but it should go
Sorry.
MJ Nakatani to me.
Yeah, I like it.
They want to bring him to Vegas against names we already talked
Who,
about.
Alan Picasso?
Right. And we said this fucking dickhead Sam Goodman won't shut up, who purposely cut himself twice. Did I say that on
Yeah,
here? So I know that you love
allegedly
it.
purposely cut himself.
Right. This is fun. This is fun. This next one. We're almost done with the news, guys, and we'll get to the previews and reviews. We actually don't know what parts of the show you like the best, honestly. Um, Kenshihiro, I always say Taraji, but is it Terajai? He's really good because I want to say it right, but
You're talking to the wrong guy here.
yeah, you do
I can't
butcher
pronounce your
names.
fucking name right.
You do butcher names. Yeah, you do. Kenshiro Taraji and Seigo Yuri Akoi will headline a world title triple header in a WBC and WBA flyweight unification fight on March 13th in Tokyo. Anthony Alaskagwa will also defend his WBO flyweight title against Hiroto Kayaguchi, and Shokichi Iwata will defend his WBO junior flyweight title against Rene Santiago. That's a great card, and they're gonna
Sure.
sling them dogs.
Be on at 3 o'clock in the morning.
They're gonna beat the dog shit out of each other, guys. Once again, I was right. I say what time the fights from Japan are coming on. This beast steps all over me and belittles me and tells me
I
2
went off.
a.m.
Hey, listen. I
Wasn't
went off of what
anywhere wasn't
Ring Magazine said.
wasn't anywhere near 2 a.m. Matter of fact, they called it for 4:30, and my TV was just a picture of a ring for like 15, 20 minutes. So it started closer to 5, and there was only one
That
co-main.
picture of the ring was on there at 3 o'clock in the morning when I pulled it up.
Yeah, and you told the fans 2 a.m. The last bit of news
That's
is
what Ring
just
Magazine said.
a little make you laugh again. It's equally as funny as Eddie Hearn. Nick Ball has claimed that he will be the A side if Naoya Inoue moves up to challenge him at featherweight. I just found it funny. It's not a news bit. He's really, guys, what that means is forget about delusion or anything. These little things that you get when you consider the A side, because he's not getting more money than anyway. So let's throw that out the window. That's what it really means. When you say,
Right.
who is the A side? Who's getting paid more? Nick Ball, you're out of here with that. You're not even getting paid half of what he gets paid.
No.
So let's throw that out the window. Then what you're looking at is who walks out first, who walks out second, whose song gets picked to play this much time to walk out, blah, 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 blah. My guy, he doesn't care. You can have fireworks.
Right.
You can have your football club walk out. You're getting dog walk. So you can have that. You can be called that all you want. But the real A side, when you discuss it in boxing, is the money, and you're literally not getting a third what Inoue.
No.
If he
Come on.
decides to knock you out cold, that's what you're gonna get. The kid maybe like him, and then
Got a real
that
pair of
comment
Nick Bulls, huh?
got a Nick Bull. I don't like that at all. But I just don't like that. So I didn't like him, then I liked him. Now I don't like him anymore.
I don't
I
like you,
want,
Nick Bull.
I want to say I want to see him get dog walked.
We're fucking blacklisting this Nick Bull.
Speaking of the monster, Naoya Inoue versus Ye Jun Kim, undisputed junior featherweight championship. Brendan, Mr. Long, you hit me with I texted you something, and you texted me something. Are you watching this or something like that?
Was I nice about it?
You were. Very nice about it.
And then tell the fans.
I'll tell the fans. He didn't spoil anything. He was
Anything.
very nice. Nothing.
Okay. We don't have to spend much time on this.
No, but talk to me.
500-1 dog in Ye Jun Kim, who, what a story. He was an orphan who never got adopted. What a fucking pathetic bastard this guy is, and started boxing at 20.
You used pathetic in the most Dago way you can. It's used by most people as an insult. Italians use it as like, that's a sin. It's pathetic for him.
Pathetic.
It's like
I'm depressed.
You feel sad for someone.
I
guys.
felt
that's
I
how
heard
Italians
that,
use pathetic.
and I stopped in my tracks. Okay, so guys, what I normally do is when these fights are on, and this Vinny knows, I'm selling people my wares, which is potato chips.
He's schlepping his chips around
Right,
the city,
so
around the 5 barrels.
I have my little phone, and I put it on places where it'll sit while I'm
He does.
packing an order. And I heard that, and I stopped in my tracks in the bed of my truck, and I went, "You got to be fucking kidding me with this Ye Jun Kim, you poor fucking bastard." You know, like I was like, "What the fuck?"
This poor son of a bitch.
He's like, can you imagine? He's like 2 years old, then like 4 years old, and then like. So now he's got like a job at the orphanage.
Right.
You know, he's like 7, and they're
he's making the gruel that they
yeah. He's just,
this guy's basically a fucking Oliver Twist.
He is Oliver Twist. And then his big break comes in getting crippled. He
was like moving around with a rickshaw. Like he's going, that's 7.
He had to do.
I really don't need that in my life, by the way.
No,
Brandon. Not at 5 in the morning.
I didn't need to hear that.
I don't need that, guys.
And I said, "What the fuck is this?" Then he gets into boxing late, and no wonder why he goes by Packy Weather. You know, I mean, the poor guy doesn't even have an identity. He just grew up in a fucking orphanage. Again, 500-1 dog. Not normally going to see guys at this level with this big of disparity. He landed some good shots in the fight, and then he didn't. He invited what looked like he was trying to take his own life by waving Inoue on to cripple him and knock him out. Inoue landed one of the most vicious left hooks to the body I think I've ever seen at the pro ranks. Probably broke the right side of Ye Jun Kim's ribs.
It hurt me.
Yeah, I pooped my pants.
They were in Tokyo.
And then he landed a right hand right on the cheek, put him away. We have already talked about what's possibly next for Inoue. Again, not Inoue's fault. This is a replacement. But the Ye Jun Kims we can't see anymore.
Yes.
Fighting Inoue. Inoue's now receiving a lot of criticism for this sort of last few.
It's not warranted, but it's understood. Guys, always remember that he fights more than other people too.
Right.
So give a little credit there. I'm not saying free passes.
I think he's fought, what, 8 times? I just saw a stat. He's fought 8 times, like the top 3 pound for pound guys. Him, Bud, meaning if you have him, Bud, and Usyk.
Right.
So I think it's a larger disparity. Did you say this, Vin? He's fought. How many times has Inoue fought in like the last 3 years? Like 12 times, right?
We went through it. Did we go through it on the air with BoxRec? I thought we counted it up, or we did it personally on our text thing.
I thought you did it. Anyway,
yeah,
Bud's only fought once a year for like 4 years now.
Yeah, it's like up to 18 months or something when that fight happened.
So Inoue's fought a bunch of times. Usyk's fought like 7 times. So he's very active, but I don't
Yeah.
I don't criticize him for this opponent, but I understand the boo birds out there in boxing fanland. Um, we can't see fights like this anymore. This honestly, this is like a criminal assault.
Yeah, at this really to me when I was watching it be at this point with a certain level of guy, it's um a matter of time of it's when does Inoue want to fly your head? And
Right.
this guy made the mistake of waving him on. And he said, "Oh, okay, now it's time to fly
Now,
your head.
okay.
Now is the time."
Now you
Um
go home.
I B mentioned Picasso,
Do you
Sam
think he went
Goodman's
home and like beat up Takuma after that? Like he just went home and just beat his brother's ass for losing? You know, like do you
yes.
think just like every like once a week he just like picks on him like they're kids still?
Yeah, like when they shared a room.
Yeah, and he just
Yeah,
beats the shit
he
out of him.
clobbers him. No, I bet you the brother does really good against Naoya, and then that's it.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, so in Naoya's brain, he's like, my brother's illmatic, like Bobby Pacquiao.
Oh,
And I gotta
but
go watch his Bobby Pac. I bet you Manny would be like, no, my brother's good as shit.
I saw Bobby Pacquiao fight live.
I was at the fight. We've talked about this on air at MSG.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't happy about
no,
it. Look, I think MJ should be next. That
agreed.
Sam Goodman, they're thinking, what are they saying? Be a US, then a Riyadh season, and then
He had
back
Riyadh
in
season on his trunks this time.
and then right, and then back in Japan for the Nakatani thing. So he's gonna fight 2 more times in 2025. I'd rather skip the Sam Goodman or Alan Picasso and go
Alan
MJ
Picasso.
not I go MJ next. Um and then Nakatani at the end of the year. Back in Japan and do the MJ fight Riyadh season in Saudi.
Fucking yo, this Alan Picasso's 31-0.
I mean, it's being 31-0 is a scalp, no matter who you fought. If he's got to pack him up, I'll watch it. But it's like, bro, we're just watching this guy just walk through people.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
Cool Boy Steph. We were like, okay, like we're like pure boxer against destroyer. This is a classic matchup. Just destroy. You know, so this guy shouldn't even ever be in there with anyone. It's not a threat. Um, Dalton Smith versus Waleed Oiza, junior welter, 12 rounds. Um, I think that Jose Zapata was a good win was a good win for Dalton Smith, at least for Americans to go, okay, he can beat a guy that has fought people
Yeah.
that we know. Waleed Oiza's been around, he fights guys, journeyman type. He got packed up by Dalton Smith in one round. You and I talk about how styles are sort of dead, whereas you used to think this guy's European, so there's a European style or a
Yeah.
British style. He has sort of a British style, but it's updated.
Yeah.
Meaning he must spar
Well,
with.
upright.
All right,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. He's got that upright
Upright
stuff,
traditional.
but he's a little bit more fluid than their
Yeah.
style. Like
Got some athleticism.
there was no fluidity to Klitschko's. What they did was very effective, but no
Mhm.
fluidity. That body work, he was on his toes,
Yeah, he's good.
moving his head a little bit. This kid's good, guys. This kid,
I like his name, Dalton.
it's hard. I really like what B wrote as a note. He wrote Pazzi Prospect Watch, meaning who, not just who we stamping, but who do we got our eye on? I'm not putting the stamp on Dalton Smith yet, but I like him.
I like him.
He did this kid dirty. That's 2 impressive wins in a row. I think he had a UK belt, which those guys take very serious. And B, I think this was for a European belt. So in that world, your next move is world, you
A
know?
little rainbow pride belt that they.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I was like, is that like a pride thing? Is
No,
someone like mad
it's their
liberal?
joint.
Yeah. But yo,
Yeah.
B, this kid is close to get like one more guy that we know, a faded good guy at 140, you know,
Yeah.
a guy that's been around. George Kambosos. That's who I would love to see him pack him up if George Kambosos won.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of guy.
I want to see Dalton Smith again quick,
He's one. Me too. I want to see him
like 2 months from now.
2 months, 8 to 10 weeks. He's like 1 or 2 fights, depending on the type of performance, away from the stamp. But I really like what you put. Pazzi prospects, watch. Meaning we're telling guys, yo, watch this kid because he's gonna be stamped, or he's not, or he's gonna get sparked out.
Yeah,
And we said we thought he was good, but then he stepped up.
he
He's good.
sucked.
I like that he's mixing styles. That's what's happening, guys. We had styles where a guy was like, "Oh, I never fought a black guy until I'm fighting in the ring," and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
never saw an urban style from
Right.
Philly or from Detroit before because they were in. That's dead. People are
Yeah.
picking up styles.
YouTube.
because the amateur program, YouTube, long amateur careers, and guys being like, "Look, there's more money now. I'll fly over there to spar. If you give me
Sure.
$1,000 a week, and the hotel and food and stuff, sure, I'll come to the UK. And if you're in the UK, you're on foreign soil, which means there's fighters from everywhere there." His style was very much that UK white boy style of the 80s and 90s, but he's athletic. So
Mm.
it's a mixed, it's a hybrid style, you know.
Yep.
So he can be fun, but like you said, he's athletic. He probably played soccer. You know, everyone does. Play a little footy, you know, but
A little footy.
I like to use that word. It is that stand-up style, but I saw him moving a little bit.
Yeah,
He had
no,
a little flavor.
I like him.
Good kid, speaks well. You know what I mean? I really like him. Hey, so I'm looking at my notes. I'm looking at my notes.
This Ernesto Mercado.
You were all right. So here's the thing.
He's fucking wild.
You were texting me, right? You were texting me about what had happened. On
Ernesto Mercado.
Now, Tito Mercado also fought on the card to confuse things more. Uncle and nephew.
Yes. He's fucking insane.
So let's start off. I'm going to rip through this, B. Just respond to me because you want to move things along.
Wait, no, I just want to talk about. Did you see the? Are you okay? Go ahead.
This starts off with this kid Leonardo Rubalcaba. Okay, he's 9-0. This is where we talk about prospects here, just like Dalton Smith. So I go, all right, this kid's on. We're watching him. Versus Israel Mercado. This is this other guy's uncle, who's 11-0. Is this who you're talking about?
No,
this is the uncle. Because this fight. Did you watch this?
I didn't watch this.
Okay, so I'm gonna just rip it off then. Hey yo, great little scrap to start this card off. What I heard was this was an audition for this kid Rubalcaba because Eddie was there, so this is a live audition, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He dropped Mercado early, so I'm like, oh, this is like the bad Mercado. He's the Bobby Pacquiao of the family. Mercado got up and went to work. He was beating this. He was beating this kid up. They were trying to take the fight from this kid, Israel Mercado. The ref calls a point for a low blow after an early knockdown, right? They're trying to take the fight from this kid. So despite a knockdown and the low blow, but Leonardo Rubalcaba was going low too. So it's got to take points from both guys, or neither. Let them fight, right? I still had him winning. One judge gave it to Mercado. The other two judges had it a draw, a majority draw. Run this right back. Winner gets a contract with Eddie. Run this right back. I thought Mercado, who was the uncle of this other guy, won and beat this prospect. You know what I mean?
His moniker is Bad Ways.
Yes. I don't know.
Yo, these dudes are fucking insane.
They're a little bit nuts, these Mercados.
Tito
Mercado, 16-0, 15 KOs against Jose Pedraza, the sniper, 29-6, former two-time champion, fought everyone. Now he's at 140. You and I.
He's got to stop.
We think two things of him: that he's got to stop, and that 140 is too big.
Dude, he's got to stop. His best days were 26. He's got to stop. I thought he was actually the Loma fight. After that, he should have stopped.
I'm not mad at that. He probably thought he had a little bit more in him.
This fucking Mercado at the press conference was saying he's going to beat the shit out of Keyshawn Davis. He's going to beat the shit out of Shakur Stevenson. He's going to, after he gets done with this fucking guy, and he like thumb points to Pedraza right on the dais. I mean, I
Check this
didn't
out. Let me read my notes
realize
and
this
then you
dude was a
respond.
fucking wild boy like
Yeah,
that.
man, he's a mental patient. In the ring afterwards too. Let me.
He's calling people the FFA the
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
what's they
Let
saying,
me
slurs?
let me walk these dogs and you respond to me. So look, when a fighter's that used to being really good, like Pedraza, he is past their prime, they typically show flashes of that in these type of fights where you go, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. If I was Tito Mercado, I would have bum rushed Sniper, bum rushed him, to see what was left. Because Keyshawn Davis packed him up in the last fight. So why am I going to let him box and get into any kind of rhythm?
Yeah,
This Chris Mannix was implying that it was a good strategy. He doesn't know what he's talking about, this Chris Mannix.
never.
Mercado moved his hands a bit more in the third. And again, Mannix was praising his patience, where I think he should be bum rushing a guy who you think, yeah, this guy's done. This guy's cooked. So pack him up. Pack him up quicker than the past guy is what you're
Sure.
thinking. For a guy that got Tito Mercado land this, I really want to just this is the important part for me. Tito Mercado landed an illegal shot on the back of the head that dropped Pedraza and completely discombobulated him. The announce team completely ignored that it was illegal. Thank God Raymond Ford was sitting in, because this the guy I like, the Sergio Mora, literally had to leave because his voice went out from being in a concert the night before. So they were trying to bring people in. They brought in what's his name they brought in Shakur. They brought in Ray Ford. I didn't realize that Ray Ford has the personality of a dead snail until this night, or is mad shy, because I like Ray Ford a lot. So they completely ignored. Thank God Raymond Ford was sitting in though, and he said that's an illegal shot.
Right.
You're fucking singing the praises of Tito Mercado. I wasn't impressed at all.
I'm not singing the praises. I'm saying he's fucking insane. That's not singing praises. I want to get into this guy's personality.
Okay.
I didn't realize that
He
this guy
talks too
was
much.
nuts.
He talks too much.
He's like, yeah, I'll fuck you up. I'll fuck you up. I'll fuck, like, whoa.
Okay, I'm with
you're
that
right.
type.
You're right. What are you doing?
I'm with that type of energy when you do. First off, you're not responding to the fact that that was one of those shots that is so illegal that that's what puts guys in the hospital.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I was actually surprised. I thought it was the previous shot hurt him, Pedraza, real bad, and then that shot knocked him out.
Into. I hate this word. I hate that I'm saying it. It's cringe that I'm saying it. I think you're falling into their narrative. Oh no, it wasn't that shot. It was this one, and then that
he was hurt with the previous shot. He finished him.
Clipped.
He finished him with the shot behind his head. I'm not saying anything. What I'm saying is, it's okay. I guess what I'm not harping on it because it was a matter of time before, whether it was that round or the next round, Pedraza needs to give it up.
Correct.
He's not.
It's more of an indictment of Pedraza than it is, oh, well, this guy, Tito Mercado, looked good.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. This Mercado, like what I was going to get at,
please,
is
tell me.
Seems like something he would, if you're going to base someone's personality on what they do in the ring, maybe he's the kind of guy that would punch you behind the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. That press conference the day before, after the weigh-in, it's supposed to kind of be like a chill event, where they just had these guys up on the dais. He made it very uncomfortable.
I like where you're going with this. Let me
I didn't
see
think
if
it
I'm
was,
correct.
I thought it was classless.
Let me see if I'm correct here, babe. Can I take a guess? Because I know you pretty well. We talk about when guys are super corny, as the kids now say, cringe. We used to say he's a cornball,
Right.
Well, me and you still do say that.
Yeah.
This guy's a fucking cornball. He's trying to cut a promo like Blair Cobb, like that kind of guy. You're trying to say, no, there's this guy might be a piece of shit going on here.
I'm kind of saying that.
It was hyperbole.
No, it was weird. It wasn't clever. It was, and look, man, I curse like a sailor on the show.
Look, both of us do. We should, and we both have children that we are like sailors. It's gross.
I was like, I was taken aback. In
I was
fact,
taken aback before and after because
yeah, right. A lot of times, all right, he's pumped up, for the fight. He's been in camp. He
sure,
just wants to get in and put hands on
sure,
someone.
sure, young hungry
Usually,
guy, sure,
right. Usually that all kind of goes by the wayside after you slaughter the
correct,
guy. Then
correct.
you go, but it was like, like it didn't. Hey, man, if he's an animal like that, I guess the best place for him is boxing where he's
Right,
nuts.
right.
Seems fucking nuts.
Yeah, no, he seems I'm a
And yo,
he
I'll be
seems
honest with you, like I looked at his body language in that press conference thing, like the way he was
mhm.
like sort of like shaking like that, like this dude's a ticking time bomb.
Every sign that you and I talk about in our personal lives of maniacs that we know, this Tito Mercado has.
Right.
We just don't know him.
And
But
he was
every crazy person I know, that's how they act.
yeah, he was just like, yeah, you too. And yeah,
When you,
you too.
yeah,
You
there's
know,
this
like
this is a guys. This is a wild card. Could be off his fucking rocker. This isn't like that fake Teo shit. This isn't that Tyson Fury shit. Then they're giving you a kiss on the cheek
right.
afterwards.
No, this
This
is yeah.
guy's off, and we're calling it
He doesn't
now.
seem like it's there to sell fights like this. He really wants to.
B and I are basically saying, don't just keep an eye on this guy because he's undefeated and has
He's fucking
a
crazy.
bunch of knockouts. He's zapped, and he might do some wild shit at a presser. I imagine he'd lose his mind in the fight against a really good boxer who he can't touch
Well, he was going after Shakur, and Shakur got up out of his seat and was walking towards the
and
ring.
was barking at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andy Cruz, man, this is my guy. Andy Cruz, Omar Salcido, who's really good. We talked about how fast they are, B, at moving Andy Cruz and putting him in with a guy with 21 fights with a big right hand. That's never been stopped. That's pretty much as fast as you can get, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Andy Cruz, to me, is just we didn't talk about this fight personally.
No.
He's just a pleasure to watch. His footwork looks like he's floating. Beautiful jab, makes you miss. If he doesn't do that and stands there, he catches shots with his gloves, cracks you with a counter, a little bit of a catch and shoot. You and I wondered if one of the Cuban guys from Miami is in Bozy with him. I asked around. They're not. Nobody.
No, I didn't see anybody.
Boziana speaks English to Andy in the corner, and boxing is a universal language. I get that. We both get that. It's not. It's. But if he's in a tough fight with a real guy, big, he needs specific instructions. They
Yeah.
need an interpreter there. And when I tweeted, I'm sorry about this. Um, Someone was like, I think that lady was his interpreter. She's not. She's part of she's either Boots' auntie or mom or something. She's part of Team Ennis. He was wrong. There was a black woman that he said,
The-
"Oh, that lady in there." No, 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 no. There was no one was translating for him, and it's so easy for Andy Cruz. Um, it's so easy for Andy Cruz to do what he does that it hasn't come up yet. But
right. So
once,
I'm gonna say something, and maybe call me like a poo-pooer.
okay,
Uh,
of okay,
of Andy Cruz
okay,
and
please,
Bozy.
please,
So two things. One, I think this is a testament to how good Loma is. I
okay.
don't think Andy Cruz, which will be his sixth fight next, they can't move Andy Cruz like they move Loma. That's number one. I see a few things there. He stays in the pocket too long. Yes, he's fast. He throws a lot of punches. He can get caught. I'm not sold on his chin. He's gotten caught, whereas in like Loma really didn't get caught, early on. Um,
Sorry, I'm
with
moving my
that said,
papers around.
I
So you're
question. I
are you
hang
not
on.
sold? All right,
I'm not. I'm not.
sorry,
I'm
sorry,
not.
sorry.
I'm sold on Andy Cruz, the prospect. I'm not sold on Andy Cruz, the contender, just yet. Like I was sold on Loma in the same amount of fights. All right, and that's the only comparison we can draw because of how fast they move Loma. This is what they're hoping to do with Andy Cruz. I don't think he's there yet. That being said, the other thing I question is to piggyback off of what you said. We have seen Bozy's strategy with his son in tough fights, and there's one game plan. Get him the fuck out of here. That's not going to work with a guy like Andy Cruz. It just doesn't happen like that. You can't just yell to get someone out of there. Like there's going to be tougher guys that aren't. You can't just get the fuck out of there. So I think they need to pump the brakes a little bit with Andy Cruz. I think the next 2 fights or 3 fights should be Salcido-esque level guys.
I like that.
I
I like
don't
that.
think he is not ready for it to be a
A
contender yet.
jump up, right? A jump
He is
above
not ready for a shot at a belt
that
yet.
little small tier above Salcia.
I think he gets his fucking ass kicked if they do that. I don't think he's ready, and I don't think his team is ready. Um, and that's crazy because the guys on his team have coached a world champion, a legit bona fide world champion.
Brendan, we have to remind the audience one more time. Guys, there's no translator, and Andy Cruz doesn't speak broken English. He speaks no English, guys.
Right.
So, again, yab, right? You'll hear some Spanish.
Yeah.
Guys, when they put him in tough, which B is saying they already are starting to do, and this gets complicated, we've seen what Bozy Ennis does with his English speaking son and what he starts to say.
Right.
Get him the fuck out of there. Don't let this guy hang around. First of all, that's not good instructions for Boots. Second
Right.
off, Andy doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
And not good instructions for Boots in a rematch with a guy who you went 12 with the first time and looked like shit.
Tough, a real tough
right.
guy.
So you can't get him out of there.
Look,
no one gets him out of there.
I think because of how I think Andy's doing what he's doing, B, in spite of Bozy Ennis and that team.
Right.
I think he's operating on such a level, and I know where your head is at. On such a level that he needed people to give him water and put the that's what they're doing. Because I don't think Bozy Ennis is a good coach. I think he's good with Boots.
Right.
I wouldn't.
I want to say like in terms of a strategist or like a guy that they could bring in, and I don't know if this is fucking, but he went to Houston to work with Charlo, would be like Johan Guzman. He's right here in Gleason's. He's got he trains guys out of there. Guzman Boxing Academy is in Gleason. It's just Johan. He has an office in Gleason's.
Right.
He lives in New York, so it's not far. I would love to see, because he was a great fighter when he wanted to make weight, when he wanted to fight, and Spanish is his first language. He's Dominican.
Right.
So I would love to see a guy like him sort of be added to the corner of a guy like Andy Cruz. I think that Cruz is still a work in progress. I think he's not. He's an unpolished gem. Whereas again, we draw the comparison to Loma. Loma was,
like you said,
a polished gem at this point, and it was like, all right, just pull the string on Loma, let him go, and he's gonna beat the likes of Gary Russell, and
in his third or fourth fight or something.
Right. And again, he lost to Salido. Yes, we can all point to how shitty he is for losing to Salido in his second fight. But he learned from that fight. He became better. There's a lot of shit Cruz does that I like. His right hand is fantastic. It's fast. I think I said it maybe in his second fight. It's arguably the fastest right hand out there in terms of a lead right. He hangs around in the pocket too long.
I think he's doing that knowing the firepower that's coming back at him, and I question whether he would do that against
we'd have to see, right?
Right.
We'd have to see.
Right. He does. So I'm not disagreeing with you. You are correct. I think certain guys go, I got this motherfucker.
And I'm going to be hypercritical of a guy in his fifth fight that they're moving this way.
You absolutely should. You have the spotlight on you. You're getting fast-tracked.
Right. You're getting fast-tracked. I'm going to say I don't think it's a great idea. Now, again, this points to, what does this point to? It points to what we talk about, where we say, what is boxing? So it's a semi-fixed sport where we build you up by having you fight no-hopers so you can work on stuff. We call it a professional boxing contest, and typically around the 15th to 25th fight is where we start to put you in tough, depending on who you are and what your background is. And then we give you real challenges. And even those challenges are tiered, right? Those challenges. Correct. So we're going to give you a semi-tough challenge, a tough challenge, a ridiculous challenge, and then we'll put you in there, hopefully with someone who's evenly matched, and we'll see where you wind up. Andy Cruz, Love watching the guy fight.
So
He's
you do. You are with me there. Like
I
you
do love
enjoy
watching him
watching him.
fight. I had a lot of fun watching him fight. I am being I repeat, hyper critical of him and how they're moving him based on what they want to do. And this is what happens in sports. It's not just boxing. In sports, look what we did with this guy, and we got 10 good years out of Lomachenko. We can do that with this guy and get 10 good years out of him. Um,
Look, if I have criticisms, before I was heaping praise on the fact that he was training in Philly because of the sparring he was getting.
yeah,
You and I aren't sold on Bozianis in general. Take it away from Andy Cruz. Well,
yeah,
we critiqued him in November with his instructions in the Boots Ennis fight. I think for me, I wanted him to get sparring in Philly. I think the hybrid style, the Cuban style, meets well with the Philly style, and newer Cubans, with the exception of Yoel Casamayor, will consider, oh, this guy's boring. This guy's boring. Then a
yeah,
new hybrid guy came along and started, you know what I mean, with
yeah,
Mayorkas Gamboa and started making fun fights.
right.
Andy looks like he's a mix of all those things.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm with you. Get him out of here, meaning Philly, and either go with Ishmael Salas or your guy at Gleason's. It's
yeah.
time. It's time to. What do you say when the kids leave the house? Leave the when your kids grow up. They
The
leave.
nest.
Yeah, leave the nest. If that was his, there's too much I don't like. I'm really weird about the the translations and lack thereof that's going on. I
Right,
don't think Bosey's telling him anything that he doesn't know already as being
right.
a decorated amateur. Something needs to happen in the next two fights that you want, which is you want to see him against two more Omar Salcido type guys because you don't think he's there yet, and see how he does again. Oh, by
Correct.
the way, we didn't mention he hurt him and he was on Queer Street in the 10th and got saved by the belt, by the way. So his power carries late.
Salcido.
Yes, which is huge.
I got to say this. That was probably the most impressive part of the fight was that he was. I forgot to mention that. Thank you for bringing that up. That he was trying to close the show.
He was and still
Pretty cool.
carried it. And
Yeah,
hey, Omar Salcido's tough. I'll watch him again.
certainly. Yeah.
I'll watch that guy again. Diego Pacheco versus Steven Nelson. I believe there were an upset special pick.
Yeah, we called it upset special. Maybe we were really rooting for an underdog, and we're such big. You and I have become just big Omaha, Nebraska fans.
Are we Boomer Sooners, B?
We are.
All right.
We certainly are. So we were rooting. We shouldn't on this show. We should actually give that up rooting for people, but that's what makes our show endearing.
So
Because we call ourselves pundits. We're supposed to be
objective.
object. I'm not. I'm the worst with that.
I'm
You are.
certainly not. I'm probably worse than you.
So Steve Nelson, Diego Pacheco. I just want to start off by saying, Nelson's a pretty big dog here. He's given up a lot of height. I mean, I didn't. Pacheco's he's a big boy.
I don't think we knew. You can look at numbers all day. You
Right.
never know until the guys get
He's a
in
big
there.
boy.
This
And he's for a big boy, he's very unlike Fundora. Pacheco's athletic the way he moves. He is. This
Yeah,
is
he
a.
is.
I can see what they see in him, and he is real deal prospect age. He is 23 years old, and they're moving him into contender status.
Yes.
Like he'll fight for a title soon.
Yeah, they're talking about a fight being for the number one at 68.
Right.
Which you have to look at something like Canelo's off the table, guys. So
Correct. And Canelo wouldn't fight this guy anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
no, it doesn't matter anyway. Whether Canelo was, it doesn't matter, guys. We have when there's a division with a guy like Canelo, but those guys are floaters. They transcend
Right.
the sport. You're not. There's got to be 68. All these guys below that tier, Caleb Plant, Berlanga, all those guys have to fight each other now to be the champion at
Right.
68. Canelo's a superstar. It's over. The next guy, William Skull, then Bud, then
Right.
either retire or a bum of the month, Jake Paul type things. That's over. So
I
get that out
think
of your-
that there's a lot of potential for Pacheco. I saw a little bit more fire in him. My criticism of him in the past was that there was a lot. He had a pretty shitty showing in the fight prior to Maciek Sulecki.
Yeah.
Again, I guess what we do sometimes is we think a guy who's 28 is 23. I think with Pacheco, because he's been around for a while, I'm thinking a guy who's 23 is like 30,
Uh-huh.
you know?
Yeah, I
So,
think of him as 26, 27 in
so
my
I give him a
head.
benefit of the doubt here. Few things I saw that I liked. His feet are he moves real beautifully around the ring. Um, he, when he when he does it, I'm going to have early in the fight before he got tired. And when he throws it, his jab is really nice when he pulls the hand back into defensive position. Okay,
It's one of my notes.
throws a really good hook with a right hand behind it. Throws a right hand with a good hook behind it.
Also in my notes.
Again, these big long guys, the
Hey,
technique.
yo.
Oh, hey, yo. The technique
No puff.
can sometimes go by the wayside when fatigue sets in. And with Pacheco, now I'll talk about the bad. Because like
Mhm.
let's be honest, this was like an 8-4 fight, and it looked like Pacheco really wasn't even trying that hard. This is going to be one of my criticisms too, by the way.
Okay.
I feel like he gets into like these lulls that, well, like he looks bored
Yep.
and doesn't try hard.
Yep.
And he's just like, oh, I don't know if that's like fire in the belly. I wonder if they put him in there with a guy who can beat him if he rises to that occasion,
Yeah.
Um, his jab hand hangs out there way too long. Someone with a good fast right hand is going to take note of that, and they're going to counter him on top of that.
Yeah.
Anybody right now, he's benefiting against a guy like Steve Nelson, who's 5'10", and Pacheco 6'4". So realistically, it's going to be
6'4" is
really difficult.
crazy, bro.
Huh?
Crazy at 68.
Yeah,
Crazy.
crazy.
This
So right,
heavyweight. What's Usyk? 6'2"?
Usyk 6'3".
So he's taller than
Yeah,
he's taller than the pound for pound heavyweight.
right. So, well, that's the thing about real quick about Usyk. Everyone's like, oh, he's such a small heavyweight, and when we think historically, like, no, he's
No,
actually
he's a
he's a
normal
normal
heavyweight.
slash big heavyweight.
Right.
In the
There were guys
70s,
that
he'd
were
be a
six.
big heavyweight.
Yes,
These guys
guys
used to
that were
weigh in at
six, guys
205.
that were 6'1", 6'2", 205, 211. Those guys,
Right,
look like they look like monsters because they're mythical.
right,
You
right,
think of
right.
Joe Frazier, bro. I've like been around Joe Frazier mad times. I was like,
Small.
holy
Yeah,
shit! I told you, bye Jennings, bro. Philly heavyweight had success,
right.
beat some real guys.
Tall and skinny.
There's a picture of us at the small room at
Yeah,
a G fight, and we
right,
just looks like me and you in a pic,
right. He's a
like
tall, skinny guy.
with your
Yeah,
buddy. B, can I say something?
sure.
Herky jerky shit that Steven Nelson was doing early was working. Do you think that this kid picked up and started timing him, and that's what swung this, or do you think that he can be given
Yeah,
time?
I think he picked it up. I think Steve Nelson is a tough out for anybody in that division. This is a guy who is let's just call it what he is, tough.
It's not. It's. I want to get to that at the end because I have
B,
all my notes written. I'm writing now along with the fight, so it
okay.
goes in order. You know what I mean? So I have to like pick it.
He's tough. He's got good boxing IQ from being around
Yeah, the best.
the best, great trainers, world-class trainers, world-class fighters. And of course, just having the instinct to be a good fighter. According to the broadcast, he started fighting late. Now, again, I always kind of squint at that when they say, "What's late?"
Yeah, what does that
What
mean?
does that mean? Is it like Deontay Wilder, where they harped on it his whole career? Is it the guy we talked about before, Yi Jun Kim, or like in some instances they say late, like didn't start boxing until he was 15? Like, I'm sorry, but if you're 15 and the other guy starts at 12, I'm not really like. You never hear this in other sports,
I,
right?
I could not agree. I don't think in 115 episodes we've covered it, but stop the madness with this. He started late thing, unless he started at 21 and now he's in a big fight
Well,
at
like, do,
22.
well, do you remember the whole thing with Sergio Martinez? Like, he was a cyclist, and it was
Yes,
this, and it was that, and then
yes,
you peel back the layers of the onion, right?
yes, and
And you
start
go,
sticking
oh, wait
more.
a second. His uncle owned a boxing gym in the
Jim.
town he grew up in, and he spent time in the boxing gym his entire fucking life
Right.
and didn't start taking it seriously
Correct. He probably
until
was
he
whooping
was.
everyone in there before that.
Oh, my uncle owns a boxing gym in the small
Right.
town outside of Buenos Aires that I live
In a place where legends have come from, in a
Right.
small, where
You're
boxing
telling me
is
the
a
guy
thing.
so
It's soccer and boxing there, guys. That's it.
right. The whole cycling thing, like,
Yes, they're trying to sell. Oh yeah, this guy's fucking Lance. What's his name? What's his
yeah,
name? I dropped the ball. My joke. The guy who
yeah,
took the gas.
yeah. Oh,
Wasn't it
fuck.
Lance?
Yeah, Lance. Yeah. Yeah,
Fuck was
yeah.
his
Lance
name?
Armstrong.
This guy
Lance
was a
Armstrong.
real creep taking a fucking
Oh,
drug
yeah.
to ride a bike. You're a real
I
creep.
just think they're all on it. But so real quick though, and it was like, remember for years, like Sean Porter, like the former football players. Show me
Yes.
Sean Porter's fucking accolades.
Yes, as a
in
running
football.
back. As a running back.
He's 5'6".
He's fucking 4'9" and
100
fighting at welter.
and fighting at welter. Shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Show me his
guy,
4.4 speed, breakaway 4.4 speed, and show me him running receiving patterns,
Yes.
in the flat, catching, and
he's young
you
enough where we have the footage. It exists.
Right.
He's
And then
35
then
or 6.
again peel back the layers, and it was like, oh yeah, I didn't play past junior high because I
Right.
got so into boxing.
Right.
So you're shut the fuck up.
Stop the madness.
Stop the madness.
Bro, if you're not, unless he was Warwick Dunn and changed his name, none of this happened. Because Warwick Dunn was legit 5'9", 185. Like that's
right.
And it's a Muggsy Bogues thing. Yeah, 1 in 5 million people.
Right.
Yeah, that size, and this was
the old timey little running backs of yesteryear are not like a thing.
Where they were like, Masha, Eddie break the tackle.
Right.
Look, a couple notes just real quick. I had Steve Nelson up after 4.
Me too.
Just because of
Me too.
I'm not saying he was looking
did too.
brilliant.
Did you hang on real quick? Did you have that feeling though? He's up after 4, but like Pacheco does not look like he's trying.
Yeah, I was going, what's this kid doing? If he's doing the Loma, which I hate because you can get stopped at any time or clipped at any time.
Yeah.
If that's what he's doing, then I wouldn't be worried.
Right.
But I don't know him enough as a fighter. So
yeah,
the 5 he wins big, 6 he wins big. He was one thing I was shocked at that Bomac didn't change. Maybe a little bit later. He was staying on the end of Diego Pacheco's punches. That area that you and I tell guys, get out of there.
Get out of there.
Why
Get
are you
inside or stay way further out?
Stay way out. That's exactly what I wrote.
You can't stay way out on that maniac.
It's exactly what I wrote. I said, I can't answer that. When you're fighting a guy like Pacheco, you either get all the way outside or you get all the way inside and dig to the body and throw uppercuts, So,
I think Pacheco whips that hook, when those guys are coming in.
It's nice. You stay on the outside and you try to walk him into something. You know what I mean? He's trying to walk him into something. Look, big shots off of that jab, like you said, the hooks, the right hands off of the jab. I'll say this and take it however you want to take it, regardless of how wide the cards are, because I have my scorecard, they have this. Diego Pacheco can get hit clean by a lot of right hands, chopping or looping.
Dude, if he leaves those hands down low.
We don't know anything about his chin yet, because so if it's granite, maybe this is insignificant the way it was like G. But if it's suspect, we're gonna find out sooner rather than later, because you said this kid's a legit prospect. They're real close.
They're real
to
close.
A something fight. Berlanga, who again,
I just want to point out what I like him doing with his feet, though, in terms of getting clipped like we're talking about. A lot of big guys back straight up. He doesn't. He moves.
Doesn't. He circles. He's good.
Dude, it is a thing of beauty to see a big guy move like that.
A big Mexican kid move like that.
He can move. He's very smooth.
Again,
I just don't. I don't like where his hands are, man.
I hate it.
I don't like where his hands are, and then he just starts to paw with that jab a little bit too much. Now, granted, he's whipping a right hand behind it.
Yeah,
But like if I go 1, 2, and that guy counts, right? And he stays, all right, if I stay a half step back, 1, 2, take a half step in, slip, whap, and bang. Now, like you said, I'm going to check his chin. I want to see what he has. To me, I can see people being able to time him if he doesn't fix this.
I think he was getting timed by Steven Nelson, who we don't know how good he is unless Eddie gets him another fight. By the way, I really like him as a person.
Me too.
And I wanted
he made his outfit
on air. I wanted to say this because someone knows him that listens. Hey, Steve, if every fighter in the world had a heart as big as yours, we would have nothing to worry about
Right.
as far as this sport's concerned.
Yeah.
So I want to see
I
him
want to
again.
see him again.
It doesn't have to look. I don't think a one-sided loss gets you a championship fight, but working hard, staying in there, taking those punches.
I want to
from
see
the
him.
big
I'd
puncher.
love to see him get a spot on the Canelo Bud thing if that
I
comes off.
love, bro. 68 isn't stacked. There are
Right.
guys. It's not stacked at all, other than Canelo. I'd love to see him versus any of those
And Billy.
guys that are Christian and Billy because they're not gonna because of the top rank thing. I don't think they're gonna make Pacheco and Billy, but though I think they're gonna make Pacheco Berlanga and try to make it for
He
a number
fucks
one.
Berlanga up, I think.
It's going to be for a number one thing, and then Canelo will get stripped because he doesn't. We beat one up, and the other one's not a draw, and then that guy becomes the IBF champ.
You agree with me? You think Pacheco beats the shit out of Berlanga?
I think. Look, you and Tommy the Razor Raynone think Diego Pacheco is better than I do.
Okay,
So
but I think this is more of a
of an indictment of Edgar Berlanga.
Of Edgar Berlanga.
Yes, I think Diego Pacheco.
Edgar Berlanga is making fight announcements, and in the fight announcement, I'm back.
Is he knocking Clarissa Shields and
for most unlikable person in the sport?
Is he in the discussion?
He certainly is.
The Haney's father.
If I'm the Haney's, I retweet
Garcia.
all of his shit just to get the heat off of me.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Like I just look what this guy said.
But we have a murderer's row of dickheads for me and you. The father and son team of Teofimo Lopez, father Junior and Senior, Haney, Bill, Devin's son, Ryan Garcia. His father's no fucking walk in the park either. Clarissa Shields. Ironically, that she calls herself GOAT because I find her to be the GOAT of obnoxiousness. And you got to put this guy in Berlin. You know how we struggle to do our pound for pounds, big?
Well, the funny thing is the folks that follow women's boxing, they troll her all the time. They're like, yeah, but Katie and Amanda are better than you and more accomplished. Right. I don't know if that's true.
I don't either.
But stop with come on.
I don't either. I
just think it's funny that people are like, yeah, but like, here are the stats.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, she's just I used to, I like when you and I were getting to be close, I would say, can you apply blank to women? Like, can you say a woman is a cornball, or can you say a woman is a bozo?
Yeah, of course you can.
She's a cornball and a bozo.
Yeah, she's.
And did you see her rapping? Her rap song?
No, but there's a whole thing like her and Remy Ma are beefing over.
Papoose. So there's a girl named Glorilla, and
I know
she says a bar, and at the end of the bar is her, like in a big chorus type way, going, yeah, glow, yeah, glow, right?
She's rhyming. Clarissa Shields.
No, this Glorilla girl. She takes that Glorilla song and goes, yeah, glow,
like an interpolation.
She's in her driveway, B, like you are when you're like packing up to be out, and it's not like, bro, it's a very nice house on a very nice street, but it's like normal. It's not a flex, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Like she's like, yo, here's my 2025 Honda Accord and $300,000 house. Like it's almost shot as if to be like you were Floyd. You know how Floyd could just count money and you're like, wow, look at that house. Even if you're not impressed by money, you're like, wow, that guy lives the life. Like she looks like a successful chick from your high school.
Right.
It's married to your homie.
Middle class.
Like it's like a weird flex, but this is besides she can't rap. It's just she's so corny.
Yeah.
Like, yo, do that corny thing, which is corny. Even if you do this, rap in the gym when you go in before.
I told you already, like her story is incredible. There's a movie that came out about her.
A movie about her, bro. And
because
sold it heavy. Right. It's that good of a real life story.
And she ruins it.
Yes.
By being herself.
She's another one, B, when we went back to this Mercado maniac. She's just not a good person. This isn't a thing to sell tickets. She's not.
And even if she's at least not a good person that she shows us. You know, like if
Right, fair. She's
right.
also, and we
I
occasionally
don't we don't know these people. You know what
we
I mean? But
occasionally
like,
touch on this on the show when we talk about the boxing Twitter, but we
yeah.
don't talk about it with us, me and you. We talk about others, other groups. You and I have never said this about her, but she's a fucking bigot.
Oh yeah.
So, like
Yeah, she is.
big time, like
Right.
really isn't shy about it. Like, I'm
No,
just not rooting for that guy because he's not black. I don't
it's
care
pretty
who.
wild.
It's pretty wild that in 2025 no one checks her, and I'm
Imagine at this
including.
day and age.
I imagine this day and age that you brought prejudice against Italians. I think it's shocking that nobody black checks her, because
Right.
right now you can do that. We are now, you know what I mean.
Right, right,
Black
right,
men are standing on business, bro, and they
right.
know
I
I have a
think
voice, and they'll be
I
like, "Yo, man, stop that shit." Like
I
Bud
th-
does it.
I know, I
Bud
know.
does it
I
because
know.
who hang with Usyk and play chess.
Right.
He'll be like, there's Bud. What do they call boot licking? And Boot's like, yo, that's my
That's my friend.
Bud's like, yo, he's my friend, bro. Yeah,
Right.
he's white guy from Ukraine. He's
I
from the
don't
hood.
I don't know what her deal is. It doesn't matter what her deal is, but the perception she puts out is bad. I don't care what her deal is, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know if she's a good person or a bad person. Whatever she puts out makes her seem like a bad person.
Correct.
She
And
could she could run the orphanage that Yi Jun Kim grew up
came
in,
from.
and do it with her own money.
She could cook the gruel there.
She could cook
Yi Jun Kim's
and
gruel.
and she may have saved him and gotten him into boxing and gotten him a big payday and saved his life. But she don't put that out there, and she puts it out there that whatever it is that she does is not working. It's not working. I don't get this too. Does it really sell for most people being the heel? Even if you're a dog shit person, like put on a smiley face and be nice. You know what I'm saying? Like I think you would do better for your I just think you'd do better for your brand
I think
personally.
if you say, can you point to anyone that it worked for, it would be Floyd. And he
Of
learned that
course,
from Vince.
right.
As soon as the Oscar
We
fight.
know I'm saying outside of Floyd,
No, I know what you mean. I'm just saying it
like
for
the Haneys.
yeah.
I guess it's working for Ryan, but I think if he was the babyface or the heel Ryan, it would.
I think it works for Ryan because he has that weird thing going on of like he's social media famous, and like 9-year-old girls would have a doll of Ryan if he made them. That's like
Right.
a weird thing. It's
Yeah,
almost
and
the
those
two
girls are
brothers we
now
don't
like 18.
right. The two brothers we don't speak of.
Yeah,
Like that thing that you and I can't figure out. Cause I was like,
right.
what do your little
Well,
ones
like
think? Because my
let's just
son thinks they're
hypothetically say
corny.
Haney like volunteered at Clarissa Shields and Yi Jun Kim's orphanage, right?
Yeah. I would
Let-
go there with cabbage to throw at him.
What if he did that from Jump Street and Bill Haney was a nice boxing dad? Would we root for Haney more? Would we be
Yes.
nicer to Haney?
Yes.
If
Not about what he does in the ring. Certainly we wouldn't cut promos about them being pieces of shit.
correct.
We would probably be like,
What do we find? I mean, and again, he doesn't sell though. But Errol Spence did, and Errol Spence, by all measures, seemed besides the drinking and driving shit,
yeah,
seems like a great guy.
and crashing cars. Yeah, he seems like a nice guy. He's got like the southern thing, which
Right.
is like it doesn't
And
mesh with
he's
guys like
and
you and I.
he lives up to his persona, the truth. Where like if you look at him on Twitter, like people say stuff to him, and he answers like honestly, you know what I mean? And we love Bud. Bud doesn't really sell like we think he should, but
Yeah, but Bud's the one guy, B, that to me and you, we're perplexed by. I'm not perplexed by Errol Spence. He's got a slow draw. He's a nice enough
right.
guy. There's
Well,
nothing
did
bad.
you see
There's
Bud at
nothing.
this thing was wrestling with someone on the ground?
I saw him talking shit to Eddie about darts. They're in the gym. Those two are going at it.
Right.
He beat Eddie at darts, and Eddie's supposedly like
He
ill.
did beat him at darts?
Yes, on a different type of dartboard that they use a certain kind of dart and board in Omaha, and he did the drawing that Eddie's like crew in the UK uses, and he'd be like, no, he did beat me at darts. I still can't get over it. He did beat me at darts. They're
See,
in the
like
gym in the
this is what I'm
UK.
saying. Like, but like I just
They're
imagine like
homies too, those two.
right. But I imagine Bud having a fight on Saturday night making $15 million, let's hypothetically say.
Yeah, sure.
And Monday morning, he's outside your house at 5 o'clock in the morning, beeping the horn like, we're going fishing. Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
I could be totally wrong about that,
No,
but
you're
like,
not. But you're not though.
I like the guy, obviously, because of his in-ring exploits, but he also just posts like videos of his kids like winning
Yeah.
a wrestling tournament
Yeah.
or like like the catfish he caught. You know what I'm
On
saying? Like,
on the post, B, that I saw this with him and Eddie, I wrote like, how could you not love this kid? Like he is who he, like something
right? Yeah,
like
he's just
that.
yeah,
And you know how it doesn't matter what you write, bro. You put a picture of a cute kid and people are gonna be awful to you.
right,
All it got was likes. And no one was like fresh. I've never written
right,
anything on the internet of the history of the internet, meaning me. You know what I mean? Because people want to come at me,
right.
Ayo, and say horrible things, even if it's directed at me. Because you know what I mean? There's horrible people in the world. No one did anything but stay quiet or hit the like button, like being like, "Yep, that's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
I can go."
all right.
But people being mad at Bud being friends with a guy from the Ukraine, or a handsome British promoter, that's wild. It's a lot of bigoted people in the world.
Yeah, it's you know what
It's
it is, man.
sad. It's
It's yeah,
sad.
those people aren't comfortable with themselves, so and they're jealous and they just don't understand that like, that's not what this is about, man. Like it's about crossing the street, and
Yeah, you're
we're
right.
not we're 80s and 90s kids, so we were taught different.
We were.
All right, let's move on.
This weekend, B, during the day, I told you, you unfortunately don't have Peacock. Sky Sports and Peacock did a deal. I told you for months now, we've been watching upcoming fights, and it'll say Peacock on it. And I'm so dumb. I was like, oh, there has to be like another company called that. And I never told you. So I have the app. I'm gonna watch it. If they do tons of boxing, you're gonna have to get it. Eventually, if they start doing big stuff, Adam Azim versus Sergey Lipinets. Adam Azim is on that same teetering thing. This win, he stamped for me because Lipinets is good. He only loses to really good people.
The good guys, yeah.
There's no one on there where you go, oh man, that loss is rough. He's kind of like a younger Pedraza, meaning for a while, Pedraza only lost to the top guys. Now, forget about it. He's getting packed up. But his losses were Tank and Lomachenko at one point. You're like, yeah, of course, keep fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What
He's
do you think?
22. Real prospect.
Yes, this is the bridge fight of
Looking him up.
stamping
He's
him.
5'10",
How old is Lipinets? And what does
35. I
and
looked it up before we did the show.
has he done anything, Lipinets, that we didn't know about? Like, did some weird no name pack him up and we don't know, or no?
He
Because
he lost to Michel Rivera, Mikey Garcia, and Boots Ennis. The only issue with Lipinets, oh, he had a draw with Custio Clayton. That was right before the Boots fight.
Mikey and Boots did him dirty. Michel Rivera, I thought was going to be special. I think it's because I tricked it, and because in my head he looks like Julian Jackson. My brain tricked me.
The Garcia Lipinets fight was Garcia just won by a wide decision.
I thought I thought it was like a.
No, that was a different guy.
Okay.
You're thinking of
There's a highlight reel knockout
that
of
was
Lipinets. Was it Boots?
You're thinking of
It's
Dejan
SportsCenter.
Zlatakanian was who Mikey Garcia knocked out like that. He fought Lipinets 2 fights later. Lipinets Boots knocked Lipinets into the shadow realm.
That was in the COVID bubble, and I was like, he's dead. He's dead.
Yeah,
he did one of them.
Yeah, that was around our first show,
guys. So
ever.
Listen, B wrote it. B just read it to y'all. He loses to good guys. That's
loses
it.
to good guys. That's it. So this is a real big step up for Adam Azim. Azim is he's a big guy, 5'10".
It's really big.
147 pounder, so he's big like Oscar was big.
There's an
Tito was
IBO.
big.
There's that IBO trinket. So this is quick.
Yeah.
Adam Azim is good. I don't know if he packs up Lipinets. He wins. To me, this stamps him. Give me a prediction, B. Adam Azim, Sergey Lipinets at
Azim stops Lipinets.
There's a difference between someone getting packed up and someone getting stopped. I
Stops him.
believe. I believe. No, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking to our listeners when we say that packed up is not good. It's almost you should retire. I think
I think
Adam
he's gonna
Azim
stop him.
stops him in the second half of the fight. Lipinets is busted up in the corner, says, "Look, kid, 35 years old. You fought really good guys. You had a good career. We made some money. Eighth or ninth round, we've seen enough." He's busted up. He's been busted up before in losses. High cheekbones, eyes. I think he looks a little bit of a mess in 8 or 9 and stopped Adam Azim. And then he stamped and let's move him.
Yeah.
And then that's a real fucking guy in that mix of 140 with guys that I want to see get
He's
packed up.
yeah, he's a big dude.
This is during the day, guys. I had no
Ugh.
fucking. I didn't even know you could be 5'10" and be at 140.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
Junior
junior.
welter fight.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Well,
can't.
Algieri, that was Chris Algieri.
Chris is that tall.
Yeah.
I've
It's
never.
5'10".
Yeah, that's a tall kid, man.
Do you see who's on this Benavidez Morrell card? Is David Benavidez is fighting like an 8-rounder at middleweight.
You keep saying David like I keep saying Erickson Lubin wrong. You mean his brother? David is David. He's
Oh,
the real
David is
guy.
David. What am I talking about? Jose Benavidez.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
you wrote.
I wrote
as-
David Benavidez too.
Yes.
Jose Benavidez is on this card. Just wanted to mention he's fighting a guy like it's an old timey name. The guy's like names like Johnny Rosenberg or something.
Sure.
Rosenborough, like yeah.
What an
Um,
odd career. Undefeated, fights Bud, gets beat the fuck up, and then just
shot in the leg,
yeah,
walking a jungle cat.
wild
Who just
career.
rolled out? See, there's got to be more to that story.
Oh, fucking right there is, bro.
Someone just tried to rob his like bobcat that he was walking. That's what he's walking, bro.
I know, bro. That's none of this makes sense.
I don't.
This is a story that if your man told you, you'd pull him aside, be like, bro, right now, tell me what the fuck happened.
What happened, bro? Why
You're
they try to
walking
rob
a
your
lion
bobcat?
and
Yeah.
you got clipped.
Why are you
You're walking a
walking?
mountain lion
Like
and
what?
you got shot. How does that happen?
Yeah, you're packing a jaguar.
Right.
What happened here?
What happened, man? Come
You
on,
have a
tell me.
leopard on the end of a
That's when you
chain.
did it. Come on, tell me. You could tell. You could
You
tell.
can- come
You
on,
could
I
tell
ain't
Uncle Vin.
I'm not gonna have a fucking podcast
I'm not gonna
about
tell nobody what happened.
it. Sorry, yeah, Jose Benavidez is fighting on this undercard, so it's non-televised, by the way.
Wow.
That part.
Yeah. The
So
mighty have
is
fallen.
what else I put on here? Carmel Moten, Frank Zaldivar.
Yes.
That's an 8-rounder lightweight. So Moten, by the way, guys, who sent an apology to the New Jersey State Athletic Commission
for coming in at
and then
190
blaming
pounds.
them.
Yeah.
So apparently, I do know this for a fact.
Just reeks of hanging out with Floyd too much.
Well, Floyd never missed weight.
No. Behaviorally, not.
Yeah.
Outside of the ring behavior.
So long and short of that is a cease and desist was sent to Moten and said, "You better fucking fix this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to sue you for defamation and libel."
Yes.
So I know for a fucking fact that's what happened.
Okay.
He should beat Frank Zaldivar. I don't think you can see that on TV either, guys.
I think it's time for people to start seeing him. I think that's a mistake if they don't
Agreed.
put it on there.
I think after the last thing that happened, Vin, I think this is a little. We got to see what happens here.
If they're punishing him, I actually like that. I'm being serious.
Could be.
Being serious. If he's on the air, you're treating him with kid gloves, no pun intended, because he's actually a kid, and doing stuff you would do to Floyd, which is we don't agree with what Mr. Moten did in Philadelphia. Nevertheless, here's a million people watching.
Right.
Yeah. Or
right.
however many, because guys, as we told you when this was made, this is a pay-per-view, and Pazzi's going to give Brendo the price in just a minute because he has something to say.
I do. So the next fight I want to talk about could be one of two things. It could steal the card, okay, and we may see, and not to speak for the great Pazzini, for Tony Taro. I want you guys to pay attention to this Mirko Cuello. He's Argentinian. He's another Samson Lukowitz find, okay? And he's fighting Christian Barreda, who's like 21-1. So Mirko Cuello is, I believe, 16-0. These are 126 pounders, featherweights. We have him on Pazzi Prospect Watch. This Cuello can fucking fight.
He can crack those kids from Argentina.
Watch this guy.
Guys, B, for a reason, has asterisks around this because he wanted to tell you, don't turn in late.
He's fucking good.
This kid can fight, and they're real deal down there.
And they're
guys.
putting him in there with a guy who's only
Tough.
got one loss, who's got
Tough.
23 fights.
Tough. This is very similar to the Andy Cruz matchup. A guy that was 20-1, chin, big right hand. This is a real guys. This is a good.
When you guys peruse BoxRec, and if you do what me and Vin do, and we have this beautiful tool, BoxRec, when they put guys in as an opponent, if you see like a guy who's got like 9 losses and 14 wins against an undefeated guy, okay, but if that guy with 9 losses never been stopped,
correct.
That prospect is in tough.
Okay. And guys, 9 of those losses, 4 were probably robberies.
Right.
Because he went
or 6 rounders or 4 rounders.
Or 4 rounders, yes.
You really got to dig in and see exactly what's there.
It's a great point Brendan just made. A great point, guys.
Now let's also say the same. Let's also talk about the opposite.
You just almost did up. You're like,
when you see a guy who is 21-1 and he lost to a guy with 9 losses and he hasn't fought anybody in the top 300, you go,
that's just a big of a point to be made.
You go, okay, wait, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah.
All right.
They're like cooked books, guys.
Cooked books. Great point. All right. This Cuello Barreda fight should be a good fight. I want you guys to take a look at that fight. Going down the list, we have our guy, Jesus Ramos. See, guys, we're doing worst to first. It doesn't mean it's worse, but this is how we do it.
It's worse, guys. Somehow we started using that and it won't go away.
Jesus Ramos, if you remember, this is not to be confused with Edwin Miranda, but Erickson Lubin eked out a win against Hayes, right? Was it a win or was it a draw? Let me see. Does Jesus Ramos have a loss on his record?
No, yes, he lost. Because you were like, I remember your fucking text. He lost that fight as he stood up and put his arms up.
Yeah. Yes.
The text from he lost that fight.
That was a gift that they gave Erickson Lubin. Jesus Ramos beat him. He's fighting. I don't know how Jason Rosario still makes junior middle.
Neither do I. Jason Rosario, speaking of what you say all the time with our joke about our ages, he feels 45 to me.
How old is he?
He's not even 30. He's 29.
What?
Yes. Guys.
God, that's a fucking hard 29. I'm looking at a picture of him right now.
Look, Dominican kid can hit like a mule. You can chin him, though. I was there when J-Rock lost to him. He's a former champion, but he's got 4 losses, guys. They're all by knockout.
And bad ones, right?
Yes, and he got done dirty. Guys like this are always fun, though, because it's knocked out. It's a knockout's coming, guys. We don't have to predict. We're going to predict who's going to win, but it's going to be by knockout, guys. Brandon is absolutely right regarding the Jesus Ramos. His one loss, he got jobbed. So to us, he's 22-0 with 17 KOs, and he's good. He's tough. He's a southpaw,
and he's the plague at that weight. No one wants to fight that guy.
No, he is Charles Conwell.
Maybe
maybe
we make that fight.
Hey man, if he wins, make that fucking fight.
Two guys avoided. You got to just put him in there, right?
You got to. That's what they would do when we were young. All right, Mugabe and Hagler, have at it, you 2 maniacs, because no one else is gonna fight you, and it's gonna go 11 and be a bloodbath. That Erickson Lubin, that was 2023, late 2023.
Canelo Charlo undercard.
Yeah, then Johan Gonzalez. He needs to be more active, B. Talk to me about what's gonna happen though in this fight, because
I think Ramos is going to wear Rosario down, and I think I think that this fight will end in a corner or referee stoppage. I don't think Rosario answers the bell um, for the 8th round. So after the 7th round,
right.
he doesn't come out for the 8th.
Is Billy Betts here sleeping? Is he drunk? Is he
We
celebrating
went
the
way long
Eagles?
on the previous segment, so
We did.
I
That's
feel
my
terrible.
fault, man.
Look
When
at
I
Billy.
drink the coffee, I become a yacaron, and then it gets contagious because two Italians, no good. Look at him.
This
He's a
cold Irish
mess.
Billy.
I would like.
This
I
is a
would
shame
like.
that this isn't going to be on
I
YouTube, Bill.
I
What
would.
do you mean? I've been putting everything on YouTube.
I
I'm
would.
breaking
Is
your
that true?
chops.
I would love. Uh, uh, Billy, are you home or at your office that's near your home?
I'm home.
I would love a
I
bird's
love the
eye
go.
view of him in that room during the podcast. Guys, he gets off camera when we record. We have no idea what he's up to.
I know. I really wish he'd stay on. I want to see him
It's
like. I also wish he would just
is
participate in the
is
show.
there I do too, but if he's not watching boxing, he
Yeah,
only
he
likes
could just
band.
yell at us.
Nah, he doesn't. Wants nothing to do with this.
I
We
know he
have to
hates
get him.
us.
No,
Really
he's got
doesn't.
to love boxing and get riled up.
Just doesn't like us. Look at him. He likes to. Well, he's sober Billy now.
IB, yeah, it's true. IB. It's Jason is spelled Jeison. So it's Jesus Ramos versus Jason Rosario at junior middle, which is 154. They have any odds there? I can
Hold
also
on.
help.
How'd you spell his name?
Jeison.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
He's the only Jason that spells his name like that.
Yeah, Jesus is like minus 1600.
Yeah, he's gonna fuck him up.
And there's no over on there. Okay.
No, I don't have.
Jason Rosario gets chinned in the 5th, and they got to bring out smelling salts.
It's 5.5.
He
So
gets
I picked the over.
He's getting chinned in the 5th. So I don't know, guys. When there's an over and under, and someone tells you the
Well, I'm
over
saying I
under
don't
is
want.
their
I don't.
pick. No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm
Yeah.
giving the pick. That's terrible.
You did it. You are Vegas.
Right. So
Vinny Vegas.
Vinny Vegas. You should hate me. Wasn't Kevin Nash one of his terrible early?
Was it Vinny Vegas?
Was it
I don't know.
Billy?
IB
Wasn't
would
that
know
one
that.
of his bad early WCW gimmicks?
Yeah, I forget exactly what.
But
it
it's like that, B.
Is his real name Kevin Nash?
Yeah, birth name. I think from Detroit and played ball at a real school.
UT, right?
Tennessee. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
University of
Yeah.
UT.
I think he gets chinned in that round. If it's so 5.5, I say the over 2, because I think it comes late in the 5th. He
All
gets
right.
chinned and he's out.
I hope he gets a big fight after that.
I hope they make Charles Conwell
Jesus
Ramos. Billy Betts. Oh, look at that. Vinny Vegas. Kevin Nash's forgotten WCW gimmick explained. I don't think that needs to be explained. He's a fucking hard on.
That outfit there on the left.
Do you want me to dress like this, Brandon? Yes or no?
That's what I was gonna. Would you wear that leather with metal studs in it?
The white? No, I'm
white.
not wearing white leather. Then the other one, he's got like a pink and black gimmick. I'll wear that one for you.
All right. That scared the shit out of me when he did that with the screen. I thought we lost the whole show.
I knew he was doing something.
My heart just dropped.
Skip the beat?
Yeah. Next
All
up,
right, Long. What's up next?
we got Isaac Cruz versus Angel Pontiac Fierro. Remember Pontiac Fierro? You remember those? I saw that name. I started crying.
I hear the music in my head.
Yeah.
I hear freestyle coming at me.
Yeah.
I hear Lil Susie. This guy doesn't just keep getting fights. They keep being like, yeah, here's a guy you don't know, but we'll pay you, and you'll be on a huge card.
On a huge card.
Pitbull, but you're not going to fight anybody.
Pitbull, the long-lost son of Sammy the Bull Gravano. They look exactly alike. Have I ever sent you to side-by-side? It's bizarre.
No.
Google young Sammy Gravano and Pitbull Cruz.
There's a young girl, babe, because you live in New York and it's in between.
Get out of my heart.
There's a young Latina girl, very young, that's been missing for a few years now, and it's very sad, really sad.
Oh,
They're
Jesus.
actively still looking for her. I've never seen someone look more like someone than she looks like Pitbull Cruz.
Really?
Yeah, it's my mother was like,
I'm not gonna make I'm
she
not gonna
looks
make a
like,
joke.
yeah, I would try to avoid it. She looks so much like him that my mother said that looks like the guy that just fought Tank.
Really?
Because it was like either it was like around COVID.
All right. This is at 140 pounds. So Isaac Cruz, who's been
Dolce
campaigning here.
Maria Alaves. My apologies for cutting you off. I'm
It's okay.
shutting up. Go ahead, B. Go ahead.
We got Cruz, who has fought above the 135-pound limit for the last like year and a half. He fought Rolly at, which was, I guess, like at, uh, around 140.
He got
Then he
sparked
fought.
out by Rolly, didn't he?
No, he
Didn't
beat
Rolly
he,
spark him out? I mean, left
other
hook.
way around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pitbull sparked out Rolly.
Yes. Yes. That's what I meant.
Valenzuela, Rayo Valenzuela. That was
For the belt, wasn't
for
it?
the belt.
He
Yeah.
got a fucking lesson.
And now he's fighting Pontiac Fierro.
This guy is the lighter weights Big Baby Miller.
Pitbull.
Yes.
Yeah,
This guy gets paydays, rewarded for
for
losing.
looking good against Tank 4 years ago.
A hurt Tank.
Correct. All right, so you just sent me that picture. Yeah, it does look like him.
It's weird.
All right, so I don't know, man.
I don't know nothing about the Pontiac Fiero
Me
to
neither.
go there. I'll pick Isak Cruz
Me too.
by second half stoppage. Is there an over under for that?
I saw Cruz though, and he looked
Isak
like a
Cruz,
blimp.
Angel Fiero. Yeah. Okay. So we know he had to cut a lot of weight
Yeah,
to get
It's
down there.
8.5.
It's 8.
8.5 and a 10-rounder.
Oh,
10-rounder. That's what the little on the
yeah.
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
I got Isak Cruz decision.
Mm.
Let me see this Fierro.
Yeah.
This
He's
is
never been stopped
Cruz is
Pontiac?
minus 700 for what it's worth.
for Pitbull. And the over under is 8.5.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's a
look,
7-1 fight, guys.
he should
So
beat the balls off this
he
guy.
should beat dog shit.
But he loads up. There's very little technique. And all right, I'm picking Cruz by decision.
So am I. Pitbull and the over.
Okay, the co-feature or main undercard is a rematch. Yo,
Yeah.
I'm not.
We could do a show on this, let's be frank, but we're not
Right.
going to.
We're not going to. So it's Brandon Figueroa versus Stephen Fulton, our guy. We love Fulton on this show.
We do.
We had him in our pound for pound till Inoue
did.
knocked him out of it, and then of course Fulton hasn't really looked the same since.
Has not.
Figueroa has looked much better since his loss to Fulton. That fight was at Super Bantam. This fight's at featherweight, so they're up at 126 pounds.
Who does the rehydration help more?
I mean, I think Figueroa makes this weight, right? Like he doesn't have problems making this weight. I don't know, man.
26?
Yeah,
He's 28 years old already. He's still 19 in my brain. And Cool Boy Steph's already 30. Just throwing that out there. I'm not saying
shit, really?
Yeah, man. He's a kid to me. Steph.
Right. Okay, so here's my thoughts on this.
This is tough for me.
I'm
is
not
very
thrilled
tough.
with either guy's amount of
Activity
in the last few years.
It's quite honestly, it's awful.
Right. So we got. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm picking Brandon Figueroa actually by late stoppage. I don't think I didn't like what I saw out of Fulton in his last fight, and it pains me to make that pick.
Brandon
I think he's
Figueroa,
gonna be too much for him.
Brandon Figueroa and that Jesse Magdaleno win, that was some sort of interim da 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 bullshit.
Right.
This fight, this rematch right now of one of the best fights of that year, of the original
Hmm.
fight, is for the WBC World Feather. This is a
This
real
is a real fight. Yeah.
belt with a real fight. I hate what I'm about to say. And that is, we've only seen it once post Inoue. We've seen him once. That
One time.
wasn't the guy I used to see in Cool Boy Steph. Do you judge a guy on one bad night? No. I agree with Brendan. I don't think he gets stopped. I think it's a good, tough fight that Figueroa wins. And you say, no, that's the winner, but this was a good fight. 16-12, but this is what do they say? It's a cracker. I think this is another good fight, similar to the first one. Those guys were
That was
on
a
each
great fight.
other, no
Yeah.
diddy. I think it plays out similarly, but Figueroa has more in the tank and he throws tons of punches anyway.
Right.
I think the reaction time of Steph and his ability to do defensive work on the inside, a la James Toney, where you're in there and and he would slip Philly shit. He's gonna slip less than he slipped in the first one, and take more of the shots that he missed. So duplicate the fight, except he's getting hit by the things he didn't get hit with in the first one, and it switches the scales of that close fight to the other guy.
And I think Fulton, being a guy with little to no power, moving up doesn't suit him.
No, no.
So
This is
those
about
guys, it's going to be harder to keep guys off. Um,
look. Figueroa doesn't have that one hitter quitter, but he stops
it's
guys.
it's an
Um,
accumulation of just he takes your soul.
let's just got great way to put it. B. Let's just say that getting chinned by Inoue is no indictment on your
No.
chin. So this isn't about, we're not saying, oh, Steph Fulton shot or his chin's gone. Other stuff is taken out of you. We're not
Yeah, but
talking about that.
also, I mean, you and I have said this from Jump Street on this show. The smaller guys don't only recently have they been like fighting beyond 31 years old,
Correct.
and
And
Steph's 30.
right. He's 30 years old. Brandon is 28, which,
But a much bigger frame.
much, yeah, if he can't, if he ended up his career at 135, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably where his frame
Yeah.
lends him to be. I think what is the over under on this? Do we know? There has to be one if there was one for the G. He's 5'9",
Yeah.
making 26, bro. It is
Well, the other
maniac
guys, how big is what's his face? That
Steph.
no, that just fought Roa Basie Ramirez.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it's wild. It's wild that Figueroa fights on the inside and continues to, and no one
Yeah.
in that team can get him to pump the jab.
The over under is 10.5.
I think it goes the distance, and
Yeah, Rafael Espinosa, yeah.
I'm pretty. I stand on that.
I'm gonna go
Billy,
ahead and pick the under.
Billy, what's the line?
Figueroa
Actually, I'm
stops him in
sorry.
the ninth.
What's the line? That's interesting. Way more interesting. How close do they have this?
It's close. Minus 165 for Figueroa.
So he's basically it's even.
Even.
Basically, he's
Yeah,
closer.
basically.
They're picking figure guys. If you don't understand what that means, it's pretty much even up with a slight edge, the smallest edge to Figueroa in Vegas.
By the way, again, trying to be more of a pundit, I will be rooting for Steph Fulton because
As
I'm a
will
big
I,
fan.
but we both just had to take a bullet
Yeah.
for the sake of journalism and say this is what we think is going to happen. But over here, we want this to happen. I just wanted to play out exactly the way I said, but the other way around. Steph Knicks, I'm rooting for Steph to nick a nice, good fight, and 115, 113, Steph wins. But I don't want a robbery. I do
Yeah,
think he won that first one, as do you.
I do. Yeah,
It was close. You can win a close fight, guys,
sure.
and it's not, and it had not have it be. Uh, this is controversial, so I just want that to be known. What I think and what I want to happen are different here. I want a repeat of the first time, a really good fight that Steph edges out and becomes a two-division champ. But I think there's some mileage there. Certainly not because of any out of the ring stuff. Good kid, you know what I mean? Trains, lives in the gym. I think he cut off the rat tail, which, in my opinion, was the superpowers.
Can't do it.
Can't do that, guys.
It gave him all of his elusiveness. It was
Samson,
mysterious.
you're
Samson's
right.
nothing without his hair.
Nothing. Let's
Um,
let's talk about the main event, B. Break it down. You
all
want to
right,
know the price before or after we talk boxing?
give me the price. Give me the price. Give me the price of admission.
79.99.
99, 79,
80
99.
80
Hi,
clams
hi,
right
it's
on your
me. Hello, how are you? It's me, Brendan Long from Oceanside, New York. I want to call and
gross.
ask why
Is Pamela
David
there?
Benavidez and David Morrell is $79. That's
Dollars.
insane. Get out of here with that. All right. So we got Benavidez Morrell. This is as good of a matchup in terms of what's on paper as we've seen in a long time. Two young guys in their primes. Benavidez is 28, Morrell's 27, correct? Is that accurate?
Do I have to look now?
No, I'm gonna look because you're
You're
slow.
slow.
You're
You're
slow,
slow.
bro. You're slow, broski.
You are.
You are. Yes, 28 and 27. Um, Morrell is 6'1". Benavidez always seems so. He's 6'2". So both guys fought at 68 up until their last fight. They
Yeah.
moved to 175 pounds light heavyweight division. The winner of this fight reportedly will get the winner of Bivol better. Blah, 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 blah.
Yes. Throw that out the window if that fight's close again and good.
Yeah, it'll be a trilogy.
Yeah.
So Bivol better. The award you get for this is you fight either Dmitry Bivol or Artur Beterbiev, which is
Great.
fucking crazy.
Really great.
Both guys we thought didn't look great in their light heavyweight debuts.
Who looked less great? Brandon Long. Go.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Morrell only because Benavidez fought Vosdik, who is a former champion, but is coming off of a layoff.
Agreed on all points.
But the Morrell fought Hot Rod, and that guy's good too.
Yeah, but he's weird and stylistically the shits.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, for a good fight, I don't mean he's the shit. You know what I mean? That guy
I
can
think
fight,
that
but he's all awkward and shit.
I think we're also used to really seeing Morrell just beat the fucking piss out of everybody he's ever fought.
There was a time where on this show we were like, "Oh yeah, no one's beating this kid, David Morrell."
No.
He didn't look human to me until Hot Rod. He didn't
No.
look. I didn't
No.
even see anything to come on this show and say, "Oh, you know what he does that I don't like?" Until Hot Rod.
And realistically, I haven't seen Benavidez being anything close either until his last fight. I mean,
he's beaten better guys. He beat the dog shit out of Caleb Plant, who's a good fighter.
Right. Plant looked like everyone does. Benavidez starts slow, so guys, keep that in mind.
He does. Which guys in fights that are against good guys, you can't do that shit. That let me see what he's got shit. Unless you plan on to get him out of
there. So that takes me to this.
If you tell me you think David Benavidez is gonna chin David Morrell, I'm gonna flip my table over.
Stop him.
Wow.
I don't think chin him. I think he's gonna break his will. I'm starting to put this in the same box as the Puerto Rican beard, and it's the Cuban will. Not thrilled with it.
I hate you because I was about to go down that thing and say this is Robesi Ramirez.
I think that David Benavidez is going to make this a dirty dog fight. I think he's got the grit, he's got the toughness. I don't know where it comes from. He is mean. It's bad intentions with him. He wants to hurt you. He says shit and you feel like he means it.
Kovalev.
I'm gonna fuck you up. That's what he says. I'm gonna fuck
Yes.
him up.
And there's no salesmanship in it. It's how he talks. He
Yeah.
says it to you like he would say it
Hey,
to me and
bro,
you.
that's fine. But I'm gonna fuck you
I'm
up.
gonna
Yeah.
fuck you up. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When he was cutting promos on the Charlo brothers.
Right.
Like, no jokes.
No jokes.
No, I'm trying to sell this fight.
No, this is a kid who was likely well, I make this up in my head. Maybe he was picked on because of his weight when he was a kid. You
Yes.
know?
He got into boxing to lose weight. He was 200
Right.
pounds as a child, 13 or something.
Right.
200 plus.
So
And was fighting at 68. You know?
then, yeah.
To bring it up, I usually do every time he fights. He fought in South Philly and a nicer kid. He
Right.
could not have been.
Does seem like a
What
nice
a
guy, like
nice,
off.
yeah, he's a goon. And we talk about all of
Right.
our homies that we grew up with that were goons were usually polite. Your mom usually liked them the most.
Yeah.
Because real true goons aren't rude to people,
No.
aren't the loud mouths, aren't starting shit. But I'm saying I had like a few minutes with him because he wasn't nobody then. He was
Right.
fighting in a bingo hall. And we talked. I'm like, I've been watching you, bro. Like, mad respect. You're really good. Like, you're gonna win a champ. You know what I'm saying? Just like, and he was like,
What he
yo,
does is
thank you so much. I didn't know if anybody here would know me because I'm from the West Coast. Like, I didn't know if I
yeah.
would get booed. I didn't even know if it was Mexicans here. Like that kind of stuff. Like, we were talking. Like, what a
That's
sweetheart
cool.
of a guy. But he's not to be played with, guy. The
No.
Benavidez family are not to be played with on some out of the ring shit, outside of the ring. His brother's a goon.
I
One
think
that's
that
not great.
Morrell will have some success early, as do most of his opponents. And what Benavidez does well is he waits till you commit or overcommit and get just a tiny bit out of position and then starts to land big shots. And then he gets into his rhythm after he feels, after he hurts you.
He also doesn't stop. B. When
He
you
doesn't stop.
feel you're overwhelmed, you can do something to stop a guy in his tracks. Certain guys, you can't. And
He
they're
is
rare.
he is set. His feet are set when he
Yes.
punches. So
To say he sits down on his punches and is set would be an understatement.
right.
He's almost pulling a chair up to watch
Right.
the game with you.
But as we said, he had a huge size advantage oftentimes in a lot of his fights.
Of course.
These two guys are about the same
They're
size.
big boys.
Big boys, same size, same age. So can't say this guy's a little old, this guy's a little young, right?
This is as evenly matched physically as you could possibly
Right.
fathom in current boxing.
The only thing is, it's the professional experience. Benavidez has a lot more.
Mhm.
But Morrell has the amateur experience, which I think Benavidez has a very accomplished amateur
He
career as
does.
well.
And it's because he's a machine, his defense and boxing skills are very underrated and not enough, never spoken about. That guy's a buzzsaw. That's the end of the drop on David
Right.
Benavidez. He can catch shots. He's smart. He doesn't keep his hands low.
Right.
He fought in the amateurs, even though you think, oh, well, he only went to boxing to lose weight. No, just like B said, there's always the onion. What happened though? That he fell in love with it though, and he was young.
Right. And his
He was
brother
like
was a blue
13.
chipper, and his
Yes,
dad's a trainer.
the trainer. So guys, yes, Morrell was really held and moved quick for he deserves it. He's that
Sure.
good. Look, this was unbeatable. I have a one word for my pick, babe. I'm the Yakiron on this show.
Go for it.
No Maschenko.
You quit job.
He quits on the stool with a corny excuse.
What round?
10.
Fuck.
After 10.
That's Brendo's pick.
After 10.
I said it to this Raynone. Raynone wanted my official pick, and I give him teasers for the show. And I said between the 10th and 11th, he quits. Doesn't come out for the 11th, which is now between me, you, Raynone, Billy. What do we say? We don't know what round that is. It's up to the timekeeper.
Well, this Raynone is known to place a little bet here and there.
He's
every now and then.
He's a gambling man.
This Irish Billy is known to place a bet here and there. What do you do there? Because this
Bill.
Irish Billy, I picked around in the boots fight, and they wouldn't pay him. This Irish Billy. Remember
And
that
it's
Irish
10
Billy?
and a half, the over under. So
And what are the odds, Bill?
Yeah, what is the
minus
line?
190, 175, 190, Benavidez.
So this
So
is also
Benavidez
relatively
is
even.
it's well, if you get up to 190, you're close to almost a 2-1. Now you're
Okay.
getting that's an
Yeah,
odd.
yeah, yeah.
That's something to play with. You got to keep in mind. 190. So you bet $100, you're gonna lose 190. You know
Right.
what I mean? If for Benavidez. So you gotta bet $190 to win
To win
100. For
100.
every
Yeah.
100 you need to win. The guys, that means that if you think Morrell is gonna win, I think Billy said he's 170. Or no. I don't know what
Bill?
Yeah,
Billy's
about
doing.
plus 160 for Morrell.
Plus 160. So if you bet Morrell, you're gonna win $160 for every 100 you bet. You know what I mean? To explain this to people that aren't degenerates. Irish Willie's got a lot to think about because there's a couple close things. There's a couple fights we think are going to be close, but I stand on everything I say. I don't know if
What is
anything, you're like,
what is no, you kind of took my thunder because I was
he
gonna
took my thunder with the Cuban thing. I think some of these guys are coming into a life that they lived such tough lives and they get
well
here. And we like to reference Marvin Hagler. It's hard to get up and run when you're
sleeping in silk sheets.
sleeping in silk pajamas.
So unlike the Eastern Euro guys, I also think the style, I'm also thinking not training for these long fights affects them.
You're
You
used to
know,
3 rounds. You're used to not gassing out. How
right.
is he going to react to a machine coming at him uh, for after 4,
I mean,
then
really,
6, then 8?
we've heard this. The amateurs and pros, two different sports.
Yes, two
You know,
different
it's two
sports,
different
guys.
sports.
And the special ones transcend it.
Right.
You can go,
So
oh, that guy's special. He's gonna be great in both. Usyk, Lomachenko,
so we got, I
Sweet
think
Pea,
Benavidez,
Holyfield.
I think Morrell's going to build a lead in the beginning, 3-1, 4-1, maybe. Might be some moments where it might get a little nervous for Benavidez, right? Because Morrell's no joke. He's powerful. This is going to be obviously Benavidez's toughest test. It's obviously going to be Morrell's toughest test.
Correct.
I think that Benavidez's grit, and I don't often say this, like his grit and his dexterity and his durability will eventually frustrate Morrell in terms of like Morrell's not going to be able to get him out of there. And I think Morrell's not going to like what's coming back at him. And then once Benavidez in the 7th round starts sitting on punches, it's going to be 2-3 hard rounds for Morrell, and Morrell doesn't answer the 11th. So 8, 9, and 10 are going to be really difficult rounds for Morrell. And it might, like you said, maybe even something we don't see. And Morrell walks back to his corner and is just like, I can't move this guy. I was kicking his ass in the beginning, and now what the fuck is happening?
So nothing. I can't deviate from anything you've said so far, other than I got nothing for this guy, like Rigondeaux did, which he
Right.
like literally said in Spanish, like I can't do nothing. Like
Right.
I can't do nothing with this guy. I think it's I hurt my hand, man. I hurt my hand.
And then he just strangely quits.
Yes,
And
but
then
he
we don't
blames it on something. Not
something.
I can't do that with this guy. Something, and you go, that guy just quit.
And then in
Quit.
his next fight, he does something similarly.
And we see it unfold that this guy is. I'm unfairly bringing this up. Others did the thing people did with Dubois. Oh, this guy tends to do this. Now I don't think Dubois did, but people say it about him.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
called him a quitter. I do not believe having a broken orbital bone and getting stopped by the pound for pound king makes you a quitter. That's just me.
Right.
But I believe we see a pattern of, yo, really my goal was to get me and my family over here and make some money. I ain't with this shit. This fucking guy's a maniac and he's lighting me up.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. I want to live to have another day. And losing that way when we think it's going to happen to David Benavidez, you can come back and still have a career.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. What if it's something not as, for lack of a better term, romantic as what you said, right? I'm doing better in my life now. I'm more comfortable in my life. What if it's simply a matter of how these guys train and how they're brought up and how it just doesn't really the way they're taught to air for an analogy purposes, the way they're taught to ride a bike is different how we're taught to ride a
But are
bike.
you saying it doesn't translate stylistically, or what's inside here? I'm pointing my chest, guys. What's inside here?
No,
And
like I just we did this so many hours, so many days. The muscle memory of other guys that where it's there, where they can strategically say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing from rounds 1 through 3." Right? The fight planning isn't there. The team isn't there. Whereas you don't often see a guy doing what the aforementioned Andy Cruz is doing, moving to a city that's not Cuban and training in an American gym, right? To sort of put
yeah,
a different wrinkle in his game.
yeah,
Okay. Typically the Cuban guys are closed off to everyone else. They have
correct,
a Cuban trainer. They train
correct.
their Cuban style goes into, and we haven't seen the success that guys like, for instance, the Eastern European guys come here and they don't have an Eastern European trainer. They come here and they train within American or a Canadian trainer in terms of uh, Better Biev and the whole Montreal crew of Eastern Euros, right? You had Abel Sanchez training Triple G in Eastern Euro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Coming here.
yeah,
Loma's dad trained him.
yeah,
Okay. So that's an exception.
sure.
Okay. Um, but what I'm saying is, I feel like there's a level of with the Eastern. I'm drawing the comparison because there's two very good amateur systems
Of
that
course,
do
of
well in the
course, I know
Olympics.
that. Of course.
Um, and what I'm saying is assimilation into worldwide boxing. Okay, not just Cuban or Eastern European or Olympic
Yes,
boxing.
yes, yes,
Worldwide professional boxing. It
yes,
seems to me that the Eastern European guys are more willing to assimilate to a more professional friendly style than the Cuban guys. The Cuban guys hang on to being Cuban. And you made mention of guys exceptions. You know, we have an Landy Lara who's been around forever,
yes,
and we've seen him get the dog shit kicked out of him and he keeps coming, right?
yes.
Um, there's no quitting that guy.
No, Alfredo Angulo fight. Like,
Right,
what a goon.
right. Um, Paul Williams fight,
Yes, yes. He won
so
and got robbed. Yeah.
right. So what I think we're seeing is guys are willing to assimilate more. If you assimilate more, I think you use your amateur background, that pushes you in. Loma had no choice but to assimilate. He was
They threw
fighting,
him to the wolves.
threw him to the
Yeah,
wolves right away.
yeah.
Um,
You fought a
Kovalev,
Mexican champion in your second fight.
right?
What's more?
Kovalev had an American trainer.
Yeah, yeah. Don Turner.
Right.
Yeah. Are you asking me
So
if I believe what you're?
Eastern European handler. This I think Klimas is a genius.
He is.
He handles most of these
He should
guys.
be treated as one. He should be
Right.
spoken as one.
He is. He is like
He's funny as shit too.
right. He's the conduit. He
To
hooks
all
up
of this.
to all of this. It's similar to, and again, some of his negotiation practices because he's handling the guy who's fighting in David Benavidez, Samson Lukowicz, bringing all these Argentinian guys who we would never ever hear of,
Correct.
getting them on cards as a conduit to get these guys here, and they're finding success.
Yes.
So these guys should be applauded in a certain way. I think Samson Lukowicz in handling already American fighters is sort of like, dude, what the fuck are you doing sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah, of
He's
course.
also a fucking bullshit artist. But
Yeah, of course. Of course.
with that said, I
I mean, you
don't,
talk used car salesman.
oh,
Pause.
right. His office is right up the block from me.
Um,
It's hilarious. Off air. Can't talk
yeah.
about it on air.
Yeah.
Um,
But hold on, B. Are you asking me if I believe that is going to be the cause this Saturday, or is this the overall?
overall.
Or put it. So we're really warring between your theory and mine, because it has to be one of them.
Mhm.
I think it's a little from column A, a little from column B.
Okay. That's
think
probably fair.
I think this is going to be a result of a buzzsaw, I got nothing for this, then, well, I didn't acclimate. Therefore, the style didn't help me with this guy. Therefore, you know what I mean? I think this is the weirdness of the Robesi Ramirez thing.
Right.
And you go, yo, did Nicholas Walters, who's the most feared fighter in this division, just quit?
Just quit.
I hear that? And then that happens.
Right. Right.
What the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Ray Leonard Duran too. What the fuck
What
just
happened?
happened? He's fine. He's chasing him around. He can't land. But what
Right.
happened? Nothing happened. It just fuck this. What happened? I think it's this isn't worth it to me. What I was willing to die for has been accomplished, and I didn't die. And that was getting here. And I'm safe. My kids are safe. X, Y, Z is safe. I've made money. This isn't the end of me. I'm only 28. I've been in. I'm hanging around. The division is not stacked, so I can still
Right.
be a guy. Now it's 3 people: Bivol, Beterbiev, and David, because he won. Because I just quit. So there's really a 3-person division. I can beat everybody else in it. It's not worth it to die. This guy's landing everything. I'm trying to keep him off me. I can't. He's walking through my jab that stopped everyone else before I put that shot behind it. None of this is working. He's picking them off because he keeps his gloves high. Defensive when he's on.
Yeah.
He's catching them because his hands are always up when he's
This
close.
is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
I think we're going to be. I think me and you might have David Morrell up 3-1 after 4. If Benavidez does what he does, which you already spoke on when you started, which is this guy starts off slow and then starts throwing his shit. It could be
Right.
2-2 or 3-1 after 4, and then this guy turns that gear in 5, and it starts slicing him up. And this guy's
Slicing
like,
them and
"What
dicing.
the fuck just happened? I've been put in a fucking blender. It won't stop. I can't turn it off. I pulled the plug out and it's not stopping."
Right. All right. So we both are picking the exact same result.
David Benavidez, and you guys have to think of is our over under, then that would be the over.
Not coming out
10
for
and
the
a half.
11th.
It
Yeah.
depends. They robbed Billy on the same thing.
Yeah.
I picked around, and what happened, and this happened. They told him they weren't going to pay. Who was that, Billy? What company that didn't pay you when I called you?
Should we call him out?
Yeah. But he spends money there, bro. Yeah, Billy's gone.
Billy's gone.
He's either sleeping or he just
All
let
right.
you go.
Sorry, I was distracted. I don't know what you just said.
You don't know what I just said? What company wouldn't pay you? Because you spend money with them.
DraftKings, I think.
Yeah, they wouldn't pay him. And we picked the winner of the round, all that, at the Boots fight in November, and they wouldn't pay Billy.
No, not in November. That was July.
It was?
Yeah. Because November went the distance.
Correct.
All right.
David Benavidez, David Morrell, for basically for the joy of fighting the winner of Bivol Beterbiev, who are 2 killers. These are really the only other 2 guys at 75 that matter right now. It's the best fight that can be made, and they're making it. We love that.
Love it.
And they're both undefeated. They're both at the highest level you could possibly imagine.
Both relatively young, both undefeated.
Yes, and Vegas sees it close. What else do you want from me, guys? We both think that Benavidez is too much of a buzzsaw. Billy, David Benavidez, and you got to figure out, we're picking that he quits on the stool in between the 10th and 11th, Billy. What do you do with that?
Well, if it's 10 and a half, that means if he gets through the whole
11th, and we're saying he doesn't,
then yeah,
we're saying he does
under.
Right, B?
Say that again.
He, by the rules of
Got to
Vegas,
come out for the 11th.
he has to get through halfway through 11. We think he will not do that.
Yeah, I'm picking the under.
So we're picking the under. We're picking David Benavidez and the under for the main event. That's the KEOTV pick.
Official pick.
I think all of our picks were in line this week, whereas usually
That's
there's
stupid.
1 or 2.
What a boring show.
How dare you speak ill of our show?
All right, listen, that wraps this up.
It does, Bill, because Billy
This
Betts
we
is
just
now weaved
stretch
into.
this thing out.
But there was a
Marathon.
lot to talk about, and we started late.
All right, well, you can find me
Yeah,
at I_know_that_kid on IG, at the Killer B24 on Twitter. We'll just call it Twitter. I didn't quit
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
I realized quitting would mean it consolidates all of my boxing news, and that's
Mhm.
annoys me if I have to.
That was my only thing that I was gonna say. Big boxing is gonna be annoying for you to figure
Annoying.
to
Yeah.
maneuver.
Write us at KOTB Boxing on excuse me. Write us at KOTBboxing@gmail.com. Follow us at KOTB Podcast on YouTube and KOTB
Mhm.
Boxing on IG. Vinny.
Are we posting on YouTube again for the people that
He
said?
just said he posted everything.
Yes, we are.
I'm not saying that the bus balls. I'm just genuinely asking because I didn't know. I'm not gonna promote something that's not there. Um,
Promote it anyway.
guys, at Box Cutter Pazzi
How mad he
on
is.
Instagram, at Box Cutter Pazzi, um, at Vinny_Paz on Twitter, jmtstore.com for KEOTB boxing shirts, t-shirts. The new starter jacket flip is out. The Grandma
Every
Ma
week you dance more into like copyright land. We're like the
into
starter
copyright
jacket.
law.
Yeah.
It's a flip, guys. Don't send the I have really big news regarding merch. Huge news. The biggest news merch wise of my career coming soon. It's the one thing I haven't been able to do properly, and I couldn't be more happy about it. And then other things came into existence around the same time. Like I spoke about the action figure that's coming. Uh, what's my name, Billy? My action guy? Southpaw Cannon.
Southpaw Cannon. Yeah.
Southpaw Cannon is the movie I'm in, and Box Cutter Patty stars in it. I'm an 80s action hero. Chuck Norris type shit. 80s auras.
For real skis?
Yeah, man. Hard as nails. That's all
dope.
I can say now. But then
Something
the
to say
other
about
thing is
that.
next level. I've dreamed of it. I literally dreamed of it. So 3 things are happening in 2025 that I dreamed of that I wasn't able to do until this part of my career, which inspires me to keep doing it and loving Knock 'em Out the Box and hanging out with these guys every Monday night. And we're
Well,
hyped that some fights are coming close. Like if I can drag this Irish Billy to New York, boom, then we're definitely coming to the card. So if you can convince him, I mean, is it Barclays?
Barclays, yeah.
You got
You
to
gonna
work
drag
on
me
this.
somewhere?
You got to work on this Irish Billy, B. And
Kicking and screaming. I'll work on him. I'll work
Just
on
give
him.
me the date.
Billy's
Listen,
like, why are you doing this for dramatics?
guys, remember to review and
Yes.
like and whatever else you have to
Yeah, we
do.
don't want to explain to you guys why it matters. We've just been told that it does to the
Right.
algorithms. So
So
give it a good review. Say it's the illest, give it 5 stars. Say we
yeah,
know what we're talking about,
it's
even though
important for the show.
it's very
Comment
important
on
for us.
Spotify as well.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Comments on
Comment if
Spotify.
you listen on Spotify, please, guys, comment on there. We don't ask you for not much anyway, other than to listen. So if you do, you're already halfway
And
there.
pass it on to a friend.
Yeah, tell a
Tell them
friend,
to tell a friend, tell a friend.
tell a phone, tell a mundo, right? Tell your
That's it.
friend. They automatically double our listeners if you tell a friend.
Bang.
Like one shot.
More shows.
More shows. We'll start
Oh,
doing it.
guys, I just wanted to mention to you.
Billy's eyes lit up when you
I
said
will.
more shows.
If you guys follow me on IG and Twitter, because it's not set in stone, I wanted to tell you guys where I'll be on Saturday. It's still sort of up in the air. For those of you that follow me, I will put in the stories on KOTB on IG and mine where I'll be. So if you guys want to meet up, come meet up, say hello.
He wants to go hang with the
Can
Knockies.
you give like clues and people have
Yeah,
to figure
clues
out the
each day
clues?
leading up until there.
I don't want you to just tell them. You
Right.
need to give
All right,
clues.
I'll give clues.
Starting tomorrow. when
I'll
you're
tell you
bored.
guys off air why I can't just make the announcement.
Understood.
No, it's the stupidest reason why,
Oh,
but I'll just tell you. Yeah.
Got you.
All right.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace, peace.
Say good night, Billy.
Go Birds, Billy.
Nah, we'll be back by then. It should still be a good night, Billy.
Okay,
Go Birds. Good night. Go Birds.
Go Birds and good night, Billy.